tricked by crooked horse traders?
So you had the horse for almost 3 weeks.
Almost.
I don't know what you did with the horse in that 3 weeks.
Or sellers saddled with a dishonest buyer?
But I wasn't able to ride that horse.
You posted something on the internet with you riding the horse.
And that was the only time.
I don't believe you.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Tia Erickson is suing 17-year-old Nikki Parent and her father, Richard, for the return of money she paid for a horse and for vet bills.
Order. All rise. This case number 300 on the calendar in the matter of Erickson versus Parent.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat, please.
Ms. Erickson, you bought a horse from the defendants and claimed that the horse that they sold you was lame. You want your money back.
Correct.
And in addition, you resorted to a little self-help, and you took the horse, and without their permission, without their knowledge, you trespassed on their property and returned the horse. And they have a counterclaim because you did that. No right to return the horse. In addition, they're suing because now they've taken care of the horse for, I don't know how long, for feed bills and whatever. That's their counterclaim. Now, I'm going to start out with you, too. How many horses do you have?
Well, technically 3.5. I have a miniature as well, but 4.
Where did you get them?
I purchased Maya from one of my friends in 2012.
You purchased?
Maya, and then...
From a friend?
Yep.
Not yup. Yup is not an answer. Yes is an
correct.
answer. In 2012?
Yep, sorry.
Yes is the
Yes.
answer. And how much did you pay for her?
$1,000.
What's the other horse that you have?
I have Hope, which was a rescue, and Mel.
Just a second. Hope was a rescue from where?
My farrier, so the one who trims her feet, he brought her to my attention. She needed help, and she was very overweight, and she had bad feet, so I took her in my care.
When?
That was in, I want to say, 2013.
What else do you have?
I have Melvin, and I bought him in 2014. Or I didn't buy him. I went down, and I was originally supposed to pay $100, but she decided to give him to me for free because she knew he'd be in good hands.
Where did you get this horse from that you sold to Miss Erickson?
I actually, when I was younger, I would ride her because I knew the owner, and she brought to my attention when her husband got a divorce, and she needed someone to take the horse because she wasn't getting the proper care, so I went and rescued her as well.
So you paid nothing for her?
Yep. Yes.
Why did you decide to sell her?
I actually rodeo, and I was deciding to continue my rodeo career. I wanted another rodeo horse, and Eva was sitting on the back burner for me, so I decided...
She what?
Was sitting on the back burner, so she wasn't getting top attention, which I felt she needed, so that's why I decided to sell her.
Why didn't you just find her a good home?
Because in the rodeo world, you have to lose some to win some, basically.
Just a second. You got the horse for free. Mm-hmm. What I want to know is, why didn't you, if the horse was on the back burner for you, why didn't you try to find the horse a good home like the other people did when you rescued their horses?
I don't know. I decided to sell her because I did put a lot into feed and vet bills and farrier, which farrier gets expensive with 4 horses.
Mm-hmm. So you wanted to be paid back for feeding her?
Yep. Yes.
Did you ride her?
Did I ride her? Mm-hmm. Yes, I did.
Okay. On what date did you purchase the horse?
On July 31st, 2016.
On what date did you trespass on the defendant's property and return the horse?
Your Honor, they were aware that I was coming.
You trespassed on their property. On what date did you...
I brought the horse back on August 20th, 2016, after a short ride.
Just a second. And you say you picked up the horse on what date?
On July 31st.
So you had the horse for almost 3 weeks.
Almost. But I wasn't able to ride that horse.
I don't care.
Mm-hmm. They understood.
I don't care. On what date did you first advise the defendants by email or text message that you can prove to me that you were having difficulty with the horse?
I did it immediately after having...
No. That immediately is not my answer.
Right.
I said, on what date?
I had the veterinarian come out on the 19th of August.
So what you're telling me is that the first communication that you had with them was almost 3 weeks later.
Correct. That's when we had a chance to ride the horse.
You don't get your money back.
Your Honor,
You don't get your money back.
They're aware that
Don't tell
it
me
was
what
a
they're aware
warranty.
of. You can't testify what's in somebody else's mind.
There was a warranty,
You
express
don't-
warranty we
you-
agreed upon.
You don't get your money back. You had the horse for 3 weeks.
Your Honor, what about...
Just a second. You had the horse for 3 weeks. I don't know what you did with the horse in that 3 weeks. I have to rely on you that you bought a horse because you wanted a trail ride and that you had a vet look at it. And I'm not prepared to do that.
We did ride the horse on this. First time was 2 weeks after, because that's when we were able to do that. But they knew that I was wanting it for a rideable trail horse.
You don't get your money back. I don't know what you did to the horse.
So the statute's saying that...
You don't get your money back. You have to be a buyer that does the right thing in a timely fashion. And 3 weeks later is not a timely fashion. If you have a horse that's in your custody for 3 weeks, and I don't know what you did with it, but I read something in an answer that says that you posted something on the internet with you riding the horse.
And that was the only time.
I don't believe you. Is that your tape?
My witness is the one
that
who
your
rode
tape?
the
No way.
horse.
Not happening. Can I see it?
Yes.
That's returning the horse. She wants to see a picture of
I wanted to see the
riding.
internet picture of her riding the horse.
And I did not ride the horse, ever, Your Honor.
That's that one call. They're on the horse.
May I see them, please?
So they sold it as a trail horse. Even their advertisement state it's amazing on trails.
Listen to the horse.
Personally, no, I have never rode that horse. My witness did.
Well, this is you. I don't know if you're on the horse.
I went riding with them on my own horse. That's me on my own horse.
This is not the horse.
She's behind him.
What do you mean she's behind him?
The picture of Tia and Eva is behind because she purchased it for her boyfriend to ride.
To ride on trails.
So he rode the horse.
Yes.
So this is her, and he rode the horse.
Yes.
And do we have a date on this picture?
There wasn't a date.
Well,
That was August 14th, 2016. That's the first time and the only time that my witness rode the horse.
I don't believe you, Ms. Erickson. You don't get your money back. Now, you don't get anything on your counterclaim either because what you're probably going to do is you're going to resell the horse. That's what you're probably going to do.
Right.
I mean, you got it for nothing. But they can't just decide that they don't want it anymore after, in all probability, something that happened to the horse in their care.
Your Honor, the veterinarian bill states, explanation and exam states it's a pre-existing condition that was before I
You're
bought
not
the horse.
getting your money back.
So they can ride.
You're not getting your money back.
They can sell a rideable horse using false advertisements. And
Case is dismissed. We're done.
All right, is that excused? You may step out.
it seems to me that Mr. Parent is teaching his daughter how to lie, cheat, and steal people's money
Well, Miss Erickson slanders because
by advertising that it was amazing on trails, rides double.
her own vet report told her the hooves were bad, needed to be done,
The vet report showed that this horse had chronic progressive arthritis with bone spurs,
and they weren't done. We had to do them as soon as they returned her.
which was very chronic and very grade 4 lame, they said.
The feet on the horse are the most important part of the horse.
We wanted to go riding together, which has been destroyed now because
We rescued her once and we're rescuing her again.
of the poor lame horse. I feel bad for where it's ending up being,
Because then I can know who's taking care of her and I trust myself.
but I have no say.
I'm happy she's back.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Bartolomeo versus Wooten step forward.
Linda Bartolomeo is suing her former tenant, Nathaniel Wooten, for unpaid rent, late fees, damages, and the return of property.
Ms. Bartolomeo, you had a rental property that you rented to the defendant's then-girlfriend.
Yes.
He moved in with the girlfriend, then the girlfriend moved out, he stayed on.
Correct.
You were never a signatory to the girlfriend's lease, correct?
No, ma'am.
Did you have your own lease?
No, not that time. I did not.
Did you ever have your own lease?
Once she moved out and I signed a new lease, I did.
Okay. Do you have a copy of that lease?
I have it on my phone, ma'am.
I'd like to take a look at it.
That's the amendment. This is the original lease.
Lease amendment.
This was done by mail because this is the same signature on both,
It was done through email, ma'am.
through email.
Through a Rocket Lawyer.
Okay, so your rent was $112.50 a week.
That was in the first lease. The amendment changed it to $225 every 2 weeks on the 8th and 22nd of every month.
Excuse me, Your Honor, that's incorrect.
And when did you move out?
I moved out on October 4th.
Between July 2nd of 2016, Mr. Wooten, and October 4th, did you pay your rent every 2 weeks?
Yes, ma'am. I paid my rent for the first 2 weeks of August.
No, we're talking about July 2nd. I want you to pay careful attention to my words.
Yes, ma'am.
I said as of July 2nd, 2016, up through October 4th, did you pay your rent every 2 weeks?
No, ma'am.
What weeks didn't you pay?
I didn't pay the 3rd and 4th week of August or September.
So do you owe 4 weeks?
Because she violated the lease, and we were supposed to go to court, and I had the money in an escrow account, and she never took me to court, and then we showed up on here.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Why were you growing marijuana at the house? Why?
She told me I could.
That's not true, Your Honor.
Just a second. Why did you do it? I'm asking you.
I did it because I was tired of paying for weed.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Linda Bartolomeo says former tenant Nathaniel Wooten violated his lease. She is suing for rent, late fees, damages, and the return of property.
Now, did you pay rent? No. Did you live there? Yes. Then you owe rent. My only question is, when you say 2 weeks and 2 weeks, does that mean that you didn't pay 4 weeks or you didn't pay 8 weeks?
I didn't pay 6 weeks, Your Honor.
In the middle? Oh, okay.
Yes.
What difference does it make? You say 7 weeks, he says 6 weeks.
Yeah. Well,
Let's say 6 weeks. That's $675. That's 6 weeks. Okay. Now, I assume that you signed this lease amendment, and the lease amendment makes certain minor changes. Either party was in default of the lease, so that's why I started with July 2nd. So
Correct.
according to both of you, you were each in compliance with the terms of the lease. And he's going to keep the house in an acceptable condition for potential buyers. So he was
Correct.
And he will complete the inside trim of the house. Painting will be completed by August 1st. Was that done?
No.
Did you do that?
No, Your Honor.
Why not?
I have a text from Linda saying that the only amendments that she made on the lease was about changing it from weekly to bi-weekly.
No, it's right here.
I didn't read it. I did not read it because I have the text saying that the only thing that she changed on the lease was how much I was paying instead of weekly to bi-weekly. So I said, okay, I'll sign it and send it back to you. I didn't know
that's your problem. Because if what you signed you didn't read, that's your problem. How old are you?
30.
That's your problem. Okay, the following items will be provided by the landlord. That was in the amendment. Stove, refrigerator, dishwasher, microwave, washer, dryer, toaster oven, cappuccino maker.
Yes, Your Honor.
I received everything back. Everything, that's correct.
And did you provide that?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you want to tell me why you didn't pay rent?
I didn't pay rent because she was selling the house at the time.
And
she was sending people into my house without my approval.
You knew that selling the house. That's why part of this amendment is there, is that you keep the house in good condition for potential buyers.
Yes, the other reason why.
So far you owe $675. You have pictures of the damage he left? Why were you growing marijuana at the house? Why?
She told me I could.
That's not true, Your Honor.
Just a second. In order for her to tell you you could, your landlord just came up to you one day and said to you, I think you should grow marijuana in the house?
No, she showed me where to grow it. It wasn't in the house. It was outside.
Just a second. That's not what I said to you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
When they moved out, she left the grow lights, the grow plants, the power strips. I have pictures of it. And we smoked together when I was signing the lease in the first place. So I understand it was okay.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Linda Bartolomeo says former tenant Nathaniel Wooten violated his lease. She is suing for rent, late fees, damages, and the return of property.
I said, you mean one day the landlord came up and said, I think you should grow marijuana in the house.
Correct.
This is where I think you should grow it?
Correct.
Is that what happened?
Yes, and she also she left, when they moved out, she left the grow lights, the grow plants, the power strips. I have pictures of it. And it was outside the house on the back.
Why did you do it? I'm asking you.
I did it because I was tired of paying for weed.
That's an answer. That's an answer, not because this lady told you to grow it. You
Sure.
were tired of paying for it.
Well,
Okay.
we smoked together when I was signing the lease in the first place, so I understand it was okay. Like, I have texts from her telling me, telling me to
May I
hide
see
the
the pictures of
paraphernalia.
what you're complaining about in the house, please? So far, he owes you $675 for rent.
Can I have my witness come and help me? I lost my glasses and I can't see. I'm looking for the pictures of the doors.
How long did you live there, Mr. Wooten?
From the first time I moved in?
From the first, how long did you live in the house?
We moved in March 15th is when we first moved in.
What year?
2016.
Is that when you moved in with your girlfriend?
Yes. They gave us the house in January, but we didn't, there was so much cleanup that we had to do.
2016.
Yes.
Okay, so you didn't live there long?
No.
Where are you living now?
I'm currently living at my mom's house.
At your mom. What do you do to support yourself?
I work at a 5-star restaurant as a cook.
Continuously?
Yes, I work there 6 days a week. My new house isn't going to be ready till next month. That's the reason why I moved in with my mom for this month. And the reason why I stopped paying rent was because I paid my rent in August, and the same day she had the realtor hand the reason why I was getting a 14-day eviction notice. It was just this law of a 14-day eviction notice given to me by the realtor, not even the property manager. The realtor printed it out, handed it to the property manager. I was like, I just paid my rent. How can you give me a 14-day eviction notice? And it states in my lease I have a 30-day notice because the amendment said everything that was signed, therefore, in the first lease was still active.
So you did read the amendment?
After I found out that
Just a
changed
second.
it.
So you did read the amendment?
Because she sent me a text saying I violated the amendments. I was like, what amendments did I violate? And then she sent me a text saying, I was like, I didn't see those, and that's when I went and looked at it.
I know where they are.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, may I see the pictures, please?
I'm
Come on.
sorry.
Got
Here's
things to do.
here's the one door, and then I have to take the phone back to show you the other two doors because it's on a different thing.
Did you damage any of the doors?
No,
Mr.
ma'am.
Wooten?
The house was left
What are
better
these?
than when I got it in the first condition.
I'm looking at a dog, and I see scratch marks on the bottom of a door.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yes,
but
there's
Dogs, Your Honor, when I moved in. That's why I had to rip up all the carpet and
Listen
the
to me.
scratches were already
I don't
there.
care. What property do you claim he took without permission?
a bed and 2 TVs that were left by the previous tenant.
The previous tenant was his girlfriend?
Yes.
Forget it. What's next?
I have the receipt.
Did you hear what I said?
Yes, ma'am.
Forget it.
I need 3 doors replaced in the bedroom.
Because of the scratches on the doors?
Well, that's what I'm trying to find the other picture to show
I'm
you.
not replacing the 3 doors because of the scratches on the bottom of the doors.
Well, they're hollow doors and they cannot be fixed.
I'm not replacing them. Neither is he. He owes you $675 for the rent he didn't pay.
Your Honor.
Where is it?
Don't speak. Doesn't sound like you're losing, except the rent that you have to pay because your behind was in the house for those 6 weeks.
Yes, ma'am.
They're on this, but I can't find it.
Good. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $675. We're done.
Please excuse me. Step out.
Seems that you and Miss Sampe were engaged. You bought her a ring.
At first, she was eager.
It came by special delivery, so I actually didn't give it to her. She opened it and had it on when I got home.
Then she was gone.
At some point, the engagement was broken.
He filed eviction notice. I had been forced out of the home by police escort. His son came over, said I had a knife, and his daughter came in waving elder abuse paperwork.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. 63-year-old Sherman Hawthorne is suing his ex-fiancée, 42-year-old Lucille Sampe, for the return of an engagement ring.
Order. All rise. Now it's case number 269 on the calendar, the matter of Hawthorne versus Sampe.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat, please.
Mr. Hawthorne, I've read your complaint, which is a relatively simple one, and the defendant's answer and her counterclaim. It seems that you and Miss Sampe were engaged. You bought her a ring, and that's the ring.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to see it, please. When did you give her the ring?
We purchased it in November of 14, and it came by special delivery. So I actually didn't give it to her. She opened it and had it on when I got home.
Was she living with you?
Yes, she was living with me,
She
yes.
was living with you at the time. Okay. So clearly, this is an engagement ring and a wedding band.
Right.
Yes.
Right? And clearly, these were given to you in contemplation that there would be a marriage.
Yes.
Right?
Correct.
So now it's up to you to convince me why he doesn't get them back.
Well, we did 2011, and this was all in contemplation of getting married. He was pretty sick when I first met him.
Listen, I need the Reader's Digest version of this. This is only a half-hour program.
Okay.
You got engaged when?
2012.
And you were living together?
Correct.
How long did you live together after 2012?
Up until about April 2015.
And you were engaged all that time. Did you wear both these rings or just one?
Both.
Both. So you wore the engagement ring and the wedding band?
Yes, he wanted me to wear both. Yes, ma'am.
He wanted you to?
Yes.
And you did?
Correct.
Okay. Now, at some point, the engagement was broken.
Correct.
And you gave him back the rings?
Yes.
When was that?
April 2015.
How did they come into your possession again?
After we had broken up, this was all due to his...
Don't tell me what it was due to. I don't care. Another show.
Okay.
Not me.
We had broken up, and he filed eviction notice.
To get you out?
Yes.
Okay, so you were evicted from the premises?
Yes.
Because you didn't want to leave voluntarily?
I wanted 30 days to get some things together because, you know, this all happened at like 3 o'clock in the morning, April 30th.
So there was
some
sort of a kerfuffle.
Correct.
And you wanted 30 days. Well, that wouldn't have been unreasonable, Mr. Hawthorne, since she had lived with you for a long time.
Yes.
You gave him back the ring.
Correct.
And how did they get back into your possession?
So he had the jewelry the entire 30 days while I was there trying to reestablish myself. I had to buy new furniture. When we moved in together, I gave everything away.
That's your counterclaim.
Okay.
Let us move on. I'm dealing with this now.
After he had gotten the jewelry and I had moved out, it had been, I don't know, 3 to 6 months that I had moved away, gone, no communication. The plaintiff continued to call me and text me and wanted to go out on a date or dinner. He wanted to make up for the things that happened because I had been forced out of the home the night before I had to move by police escort. His son came over, said I had a knife, and his daughter came in waving elder abuse paperwork.
So, how did you get the ring back?
We went out to dinner. He gave me a check for $50 as a gift, and then he presented the ring to me as a gift to make up for everything that I had gone through.
Well, not to make up for. What did he say to you when he gave you the ring back?
I'm sorry, you know, I let my family get involved. I'm sorry I didn't help you move and get reestablished. And here is a check, and then this is a ring, and you know, I wanted you to have this.
And what did you do with it?
I took it and I kept it and I sent
back.
Well, I did not agree to marry him before we went out on a date. He was I did tell him that
you're out at dinner.
Yes.
Now, after that dinner, did you see Mr. Hawthorne again?
We may have gone out a couple of times.
After that?
No.
No. After. Could you stand up on your own?
Yes.
Is there something wrong with you? After you got the ring back at dinner, did you go out with him again?
I'm trying to recall. This is a year ago, over a year.
Did you go out with her again?
Judge, Your Honor, we went out many times.
Not many times.
Many
2 or 3
times.
Okay. And did something happen after this reconciliation of sorts, after that broke you up finally?
We weren't really dating when he gave me that ring back.
That's not what I asked you. What I said, was there another incident that happened after the dinner, after you saw him, you say a couple, he says many. Was there another incident that happened between the two of you?
No, not to my recollection.
Was there another incident?
No, ma'am.
Nothing. Did you stop calling her?
Yes. She blocked me.
That's not true.
I could not call her unless she wanted to talk to me, whenever she wanted to talk. Other than that, I was blocked.
Okay. And what month was that?
June through, I would say, Thanksgiving and...
2015.
2015, yes, ma'am.
Well, now it's well into 2016.
Right.
When did you file this case against her for the return of the rings?
I filed that in September.
What took you so long?
Well, I tried to give her time. I told her that I could wait a little while if she wanted to wait. And she said, yes, I would like to wait a little while before we do.
Before you do what?
Before we get back together and marry. I wanted her to have that ring in marriage. She knows that.
Well, it's a wedding band and an engagement ring.
Right. I told her she could have that smaller ring, that engagement ring. Never the wedding ring.
So you told her...
She came to my house.
Just a second. So you told her that she could have this ring, but not the wedding band.
No. Just the opposite. That's the wedding ring in your right hand.
Well, that's the most important. Listen, this is the more expensive one.
Right. That's not the one I told her she could have.
You told her she could have this one?
Yes, ma'am. She came to my house and got it.
That is not true.
When?
She came to my house one night after her work in her car and parked in my driveway to get a registration that I had that belonged to her car. And I told her, you take this, I want you to have it.
Just a second. So is what you're telling me that you didn't give her the rings over dinner?
The smaller rings, Your Honor, I gave to her at my house in the drive. We were out to a place in St. Louis, and we talked, and I told her again that I wanted her to have the ring. I asked her, was she ready to marry yet? And she says, I want to move on to better things. If you're ready to change the way you're living, and we can go ahead on and get married. And I let her have the ring.
I don't believe you, Mr. Hawthorne.
Well,
I think you gave her the rings without a promise. The first time, I think that you asked her to marry you. The second time, I think you gave her the rings. And there was no contemplation of marriage at that point.
May I speak?
Well, just a second.
Okay.
Does it sound as if you're losing? Why would you want to speak if it doesn't sound as if you're losing?
No, Judge Scheindlin.
So, a wedding ring is given in contemplation of marriage. That's the way it was given to her the first time.
Yes.
And you would have gotten the ring back. The second time, after you broke up and after she was out of the house for 6 months, and after you had a dinner, and you changed the story a couple of times, you gave her the little one but not the big one. Well, why would you give her the wedding band instead of letting her keep the engagement ring? You weren't married to each other. You just wanted to give her a token. Do you remember giving her a check for $50?
Yes.
What was the check for, Mr. Hawthorne?
Just a gift. We went to dinner in Fairview Heights, and I gave that to her in a box of candy.
Okay. How much did you pay for this?
$43.77.
And who did you buy it from?
Macy's.
Okay. Now I'm going to get to your counterclaim. When you moved in with Mr. Hawthorne, you had a house full of furniture, and he said, move in with me, get rid of your furniture.
Correct.
In what year?
Late 2011.
So, according to you, what he said was, I'll give you money to get some new furniture. Not when you first moved out, but later on. He said, here's $50, and I'll give you another $1,750 so you can buy new furniture. Forget it. Not interested. But the rings are yours. You don't like them? Sell them. That'll take care of your furniture. Do we understand each other?
Yes.
Perfect. Give her back the rings.
Sure.
Very good. This case is over.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Thank you.
A lot of things took place. A lot of lies were told.
It was all his doing. Once he gave the ring back to me as a gift.
You don't go buy a ring with a retail value of $8,000 and give it to somebody.
I guess things didn't go the way he wanted them to go, and he just wanted to harass me.
But I'm going to move on.
I love Judge Judy, and I'm very grateful for the outcome.
Love and money don't mix.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Barajas versus Forsyth. Step forward.
18-year-old Michaela Barajas is suing her boyfriend's mother, Marini Forsyth, for an unpaid loan to pay her rent.
Ms. Barajas, what school do you go to?
I'm currently not enrolled.
What school were you going to?
The Arts Institute.
What?
Film production.
From when to when?
June 2015 to about July. Only like
for a month.
A month, yeah.
Did you apply for government loans and things for school?
No, I'm Native American, so I'm exempt from a lot of that.
Where did you get the money from to loan the defendant money for rent?
From the tribe.
I don't understand that. Explain that to me.
So I have residual checks that come in once or twice every 4 months.
For how much?
$2,800.
That you get every month as part of what?
Just for being a part of the tribe.
So how much do you get annually?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
I don't know. It started when I was 18. I just turned 18 in March.
When did you get your last check?
June.
For $2,800?
No.
How much?
$50,000.
$50,000?
That one is only to be touched when you're 18.
Did you blow it already? You went through the whole $50,000?
Yeah, I bought a car and been paying rent.
What kind of a car did you buy?
Fiat.
How much did you pay for it?
$1,600. $16,000, sorry.
What'd you do with the rest of the money?
I don't know. Spend it.
Are you living with him now?
Yes.
And this is his mother?
Yes, Your Honor.
Plaintiff moved into your house. You were behind in your rent.
Yes.
She gave you money. How much did she give you?
$3,000.
When did she give you the $3,000?
July 6th.
When did you move out of the house? Who did you leave home?
My son, my
Tyler, my other son, and my daughter, and my ex-husband, who I asked to move back in to help take care of the rent.
Who pays the rent there?
Currently me and her ex-husband.
How much do you contribute?
It just started a month ago, I would say, so I paid the full month of $1,300 in utilities, an extra like $500, but next month he's supposed to take over the full $1,300 and I'm just utilities.
Don't count on it. What does the boyfriend do? What does the boyfriend do?
He currently just got hired at Best Buy.
So he did nothing? Nice. So far, you're not making great choices.
Right.
Don't have any children just yet.
No.
It's my best advice to you. This is not a mess you want to be involved with.
Right.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
I was riding, there were parked cars, there was traffic as well, lost control of my bike, and I woke up to a passerby holding my head to the ground, saying that I was bleeding profusely and that the ambulance was on its way.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Michaela Baraja, Forsyth, owes for a loan to pay rent.
Okay, now, tell me about the $3,000.
She had been stressed and talking about being behind 2 months on rent. For a while, they were about to be evicted. They were getting constant notices of 3 days. So, felt bad. I told her, I will loan it to you. I have the money, and I'm okay to take care of myself for right now. It's not a problem. Just pay me back whenever you can.
Okay, and she said okay.
Yes.
Can you pay her back?
No.
She can't pay you back. That's not a contract. Pay me back whenever you can.
I mean, she's given me like a couple bucks here and there. I have it documented.
Oh, well, that's good. That's fine. Then she's doing what she said she would do.
Right.
But you don't have an enforceable contract.
No.
If a contract with you is open-ended, I'll pay you back when there is a next full eclipse of the moon. And there is never a full eclipse of the moon again. That means you never get paid.
Right.
You left it up to her in your open-ended contract by saying, I have the money right now. Pay me back when you're able.
Right.
That's not a contract. I wish it were a contract, actually. I think it's absolutely wrong to take advantage of somebody like you who is inexperienced with finances, who is 18 years old and inexperienced and gets this whole lump sum of money and didn't blow the whole thing on a car,
right.
But now you bought yourself a whole bunch of... The boyfriend who doesn't work, her other 2 children, do they work?
No.
No. I really wish I could help you, but this is still a court because from an emotional perspective, you're sympathetic. But from a legal perspective, you don't have a contract with her. You can have a verbal contract,
right.
But your contract with her wasn't a verbal contract because it said you pay me back when you can. Now, if she won the lottery and she had $10 million, I say, you know what, you say you can't, I say you can. She doesn't think she can pay you back the $3,000 now.
She also lived in my house for 2 months rent-free, too, so.
How much was your rent?
$1,300.
Well, but she gave you $3,000.
Yeah.
So, and you were how many people? You, the ex-husband, and your 3 children, right?
Well, yeah.
So 1/6 of $1,300 doesn't amount to $3,000.
Correct.
Right, good. I'm sorry. I wish I could help her because I think that you're not a nice lady. This case is dismissed. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I loaned her the money. She said she was going to pay me back, and she didn't.
She stayed in my house for 2 months and didn't pay any rents, and
I believe I paid out my rent.
so I feel like I don't owe her anything.
I feel like I was just trying to help, and it went out of control.
She threw me out in the middle of the night.
And we took over her bedroom because we were paying for it.
And I end up looking like the bad guy because she offered to help me.
We deserved it.
And now, the next case.
All forward.
Renee Turner is suing bicyclist Brandon Smith for crashing into her parked car.
Ms. Turner, it is your claim that the defendant damaged your car with his bicycle.
Yes.
That he was riding, and you didn't see the incident.
Correct.
Your car was parked at the time. And I assume you have a police report.
I do.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Was yours the only vehicle that was hit?
To my knowledge, yes, but in the accident report, supposedly there was another vehicle in front of mine, and that was what he had run into.
It says here you had been drinking alcohol prior to riding your bike. Is that correct, sir?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Renee Turner says she was at work when bicyclist Brandon Smith crashed into her parked car.
When did this accident take place?
March 1st
Of this year?
of this year.
You were riding your bicycle where, sir?
I was riding it south in Solana Beach, on 2nd Street.
What time?
Can't remember off the top of my head, roughly in the afternoon.
Where had you been?
I had been at Pizza Port getting lunch.
What happened?
I was riding, there were parked cars, there was traffic as well. I reached back to grab a drink of water. My bottle is located under my seat. While I was doing that, a car passed dangerously close, lost control of my bike, and I woke up to that I was bleeding profusely and that the ambulance was on its way.
Okay. Now I'd like to see the police report.
Absolutely. Good.
So you're in your place of business?
Yes.
And you heard a commotion outside, ambulances, etc.?
Yes.
You heard commotion. You came out sometime later. What time did you come out?
I didn't come out until after I was finished with work at about 9:30 or 10 that night.
Tell me what you found on your car.
I found this note from the sheriff's department. Absolutely.
Okay, so the police officer gave you an event number. It indicates your vehicle was hit by a bicyclist. There was an accident report taken. They gave you a case number, North Coastal Station, which is the police station, the badge number of the police officer, and as a result of this, you took a look at the car.
Right.
Could I see photographs of the car?
Yes, you may.
Basically a very long, deep scratch.
Yes.
And some denting.
Mm-hmm.
Was yours the only vehicle that was hit?
To my knowledge, yes, but in the accident report, supposedly there was another vehicle in front of mine, and that was what he had run into after mine.
It says here you had been drinking alcohol prior to riding your bike. Is that correct?
He continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, it says here you had been drinking alcohol prior to riding your bike. Is that correct, sir?
That is correct.
Okay. Can I see an estimate for the damage to your car?
Yes. I have 2 estimates. Would you like both?
Yes. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,200. We're done. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I just excuse when they step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
She came to me, told me I had directly done damage to her car.
Oh, he said he was totally compliant.
I apologized and wanted to see what was going on.
He wanted to fix the situation until I sent the assessment of how much it was going to be to fix it.
And then I got an estimate for $3,000, and something was fishy, so I stopped responding to her.
Then he just didn't respond.
And I tried to call her bluff and see if she would actually go with her insurance.
I'm just glad that I'm finally going to be getting my car fixed.
As she should have, but that didn't exactly pay off.
Don't park your car on the street.
This is Judge Judy. Boat repairman Roger Fountain is suing his former client, Jody McCluskey, for unpaid boat repairs, plus interest and late fees.
Order. All rise. Now it's case number 287 on the calendar in the matter of Fountain versus McCluskey.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Mr. Fountain, you want money that you claim is owed to you for fixing the defendant's boat.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's what your case is about. Mr. McCluskey, you have a whole different story. So I'm going to start with you. What kind of boat did you buy, and when did you buy it, and from whom?
I purchased a 97 Sea-Doo Challenger.
1997, so a 20-year-old Sea-Doo?
Yes, ma'am.
When did you purchase it?
In April of 2015.
Who did you purchase it from?
A gentleman named Ferguson.
How did you find Mr. Ferguson?
He happens to be one of my customers.
Customers in what business?
Landscape.
Had you seen the Sea-Doo?
Yes.
When you were doing landscaping?
I did.
Is that how you found it?
That's correct.
Did you see it for the first time in April?
Yes, ma'am.
And it had a for sale sign?
It did.
You paid him how much?
$8,000.
And I assume that you're a businessman and that you did your due diligence and that $8,000 was an appropriate price. Was it a good price? Stop playing with your papers.
Yes, ma'am.
Was it a good price?
Yes, it was.
How good?
It was great, being that we had a lot of accessories on it. We had the wake tower, nice sound system, you know, all the extras.
When you looked up its value, and I'm sure you looked it up, what did it say its value was?
Well, the value on the boat is approximately $7,000.
So why did you pay him $8,000?
Because of the different accessories on it.
Now, before you purchased it in April, did you have him put it in the water?
No.
Did you have a mechanic look at it?
No, we did start it, though.
So you neither test drove it in the water nor had a mechanic look at it?
No.
Now, you bought it in April from Ferguson?
Yes.
And you do his landscaping?
I do.
Do you still do his landscaping?
Yes, I do.
When did you first put the boat in the water?
I didn't.
Ever?
No. No, ma'am.
Why?
Well, because I couldn't get it started.
So you tried to put it in the water?
No, I tried to start it prior to putting it in the water.
After you already purchased it?
Yes, ma'am.
What month did you try to start it?
I tried to start it right after, probably actually in May.
So you brought it home in a trailer, some
yes,
sort
it
of
has
trailer.
A boat trailer.
And then you tried to start it and you couldn't?
That's right.
Did you call Mr. Ferguson?
Yes.
Start it?
Yes.
Did you ask him for your money back?
No.
Then why did you call him?
Well, because I wanted to see what might be the problem. He did indicate that it did have a leaky crankcase in that...
Just a second. Did he tell you that before you bought it?
Yes.
And that didn't give you any cause to pause before you bought it?
Not at all.
A leaky crankcase?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what you do to fix a leaky crankcase?
Yes.
What do you do?
In most cases on this design, you have to rebuild the engine.
So let me understand this, Mr. McCluskey. You paid $8,000 for a Sea-Doo that was worth $7,000 because of its accessories that you couldn't start because you had to rebuild the motor because it had a leaky crankcase that you had already been advised of before you bought it.
Yes.
So what did you do?
I actually could not get it started. Ferguson came over to my house. We tried to crank it over, and it has two engines, by the way. The number one engine wasn't starting. Number two is fine. So typically in this case, the engine had a bypass on it, which meant that there was a separate mechanic other than Mr. Fountain over here that actually put a bypass so it would stop the oil from leaking from the crankcase, which in turn you have to take the spark plug out, then put a rag over it.
Just a second.
Mm-hmm.
If Mr. Ferguson there and another mechanic.
No, Mr. Ferguson, the owner, the previous owner.
Mr. Ferguson came to try to doctor up, because he probably likes the way you landscape, to try to doctor up this machine that you paid a lot of money for and that was useless to you, and it didn't work.
That's correct.
So, what did you do next? Did you ever ask Mr. Ferguson for your money back?
No.
I'm just curious. Is that because he's a customer of yours and you've been working for them, and over the course of years, you're going to get your money back from Mr. Ferguson?
Of course.
Landscaping, whatever, one way or another, you're going to maintain his business.
Yes.
See how the story is piecing itself together?
Uh-huh.
So then, what did you do? You still couldn't operate the Sea-Doo for its intended purpose. Where does Mr. Fountain come in?
Well, I happened to notice a new boat shop that opened down the street. And so I contacted Mr. Fountain to come out and take a look at the boat, see if he could fix it.
And?
And he was nice enough to come out and pick up the boat, and that's where the story begins.
Because you see, Mr. McCluskey, what I have to do is figure out who's trying to scam who. So I'm going to ask you, sir, whether this is your signature on this answer that you swore to.
Yes.
I would like you to read the first line after it says, Judy McCluskey, being duly sworn, deposes and says, I do not owe the plaintiff any money. Read that line.
I do not owe the plaintiff, Roger Fountain, any money.
Read the next line.
All right, I was a new boat owner at the time. I called Roger, and I was only looking for an oil change. That is
Period.
All. Mm-hmm.
I was a new boat owner at the time, and I was only looking for an oil change. That is all that was needed to fix my boat, and I made that clear to Roger before he picked it up. Well, that's not true, Mr. McCluskey. Can I have that back, please? That's clearly not true. You couldn't get the Sea-Doo started. The owner of it came over. He tried a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and you still couldn't get it started, so you couldn't use it. So your boat just didn't need an oil change. Your boat needed to be fixed.
The oil
now,
needed.
just a second.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, one way or another, this is going to be a very simple case for me, because one or the other of you is not telling me the truth. And I read both of these things, and right now, you lied in your first line that you said to me, all my boat needed was an oil change, which is exactly why I came to you first, sir. Usually
Right.
I start with the plaintiff. Now, my next question to you is, after all with the boat and your kerfuffle, this was in 2015. How many times did you use the Sea-Doo last summer?
Probably 4 or 5 times.
Between the time Mr. Fountain worked on the Sea-Doo and the summer, I want the name and telephone number of the person who worked on the Sea-Doo.
Okay.
What's the name and number of the person who did repairs on the Sea-Doo?
It's my friend, Daryl.
Why didn't you call your friend first? Mr. McCluskey, if you have a friend who can fix a Sea-Doo, why didn't you call him first? You see where I'm going? You know exactly where I'm going, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mr. Fountain fixed your boat.
No, he didn't.
And you didn't pay. Oh, really?
No, he didn't.
Show me a bill from somebody else who fixed your... A paid bill from you. Mr. McCluskey, a paid bill from you that's in your stack of somebody between the time Mr. Fountain worked on your boat and you put it in the water.
I can't.
This summer. You can't.
No.
You need some more time?
No.
You need some more time? Okay, because you don't have it. Right.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
One way or another, the police became involved till he pays me. And he said, I'm not paying you. All I authorized was an oil change. Baloney.
And later today...
How did you damage the car?
I was putting gas into it, and I drove it back to the house, and next thing I know it, she's blaming me for damages, and I did not wreck the car at all.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Boat repairman Roger Fountain says former client Jody McCluskey owes for boat repairs. Jody is countersuing for tow charges and the cost of a boat cover.
Okay, so you owe Mr. Fountain the money that he says you owe him for fixing your boat, which is not a lot of money, actually.
No.
Which is not a lot of $800?
Yes,
right? I mean,
yes,
it's a
Your
lot of money, but it's 1/10 of the value that you paid for the boat, and you couldn't use it. And you were going to make up your money from the guy who sold you this boat that didn't start by jacking up his price to do landscaping. You said, I'm not going to ask for his money back because he pays me more than $8,000 a year to do his landscaping, so I'm not going to cut off my nose and lose a customer. How much was the bill to fix his boat?
Your Honor, it was $879.40.
Now, what I gather happened, Mr. Fountain, is you fixed.
Yes, Your Honor.
Came to pick it up, and there was a kerfuffle because as he was following you, according to him, the boat cover was flapping, and he was following you, and he pulled you over. He said, my boat cover is ripped. One way or another, the police became involved because you said, I'm not giving him his boat until he pays me.
Correct.
And he said, I'm not paying you. I'm not paying you. I didn't authorize this. All I authorized was an oil change. Baloney.
No, ma'am.
Oh, it's absolute baloney. You bought a non-functioning Sea-Doo to him.
I knew exactly what was wrong. I knew exactly what was wrong with the boat.
Because somebody snookered you, and then you tell me that you have a friend who fixed it, but no bill from your friend who fixed it. Yeah. You owe him $879.40, and your counterclaim's dismissed. We're done.
Excuse me, step out.
He is a con artist.
Jody McCluskey tried ripping me off, and he got what he deserved.
We even have paperwork showing that the man has had deceptive practices.
That's not correct.
Do your homework. Make sure it's a reputable company.
Don't let people take advantage of me, and, the customer is not always right.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of McDonald versus McDonald. Step forward.
Suing her sister, 22-year-old Jordan McDonald, for an unpaid loan.
Miss McDonald, this is your sister, and it is your claim she owes you some money. Money that she put on a credit card that you allowed her to use, that she said she would repay. As soon as she got a job, she's got a job, she hasn't paid you back. That's what the case is about.
Yes, ma'am.
How do you support yourself?
I was working full-time at Citibank, and I was actually laid off.
When?
I was laid off in June.
June of this year?
Of 2016. I enrolled back into school, and I am working part-time for a cleaning company now.
Who do you live with?
Myself.
And how old are you?
I'm 25.
And how do you support yourself?
I did not owe the plaintiff anything.
Judge, I didn't ask you that question. I want you to use your listening ears. How do you support yourself?
My name's Jordan. I work for...
What?
I work for Tri-Health. I am currently living with my mom right now.
That's not what Miss McDonald, I got that your sister is 25 years old. She lost her job with Citibank in June. What she does to support herself is she works for a cleaning company part-time. Am I correct?
Yes.
I asked you how you supported yourself.
I work part-time with TriHealth.
Part-time with TriHealth. What do you do for them?
I register patients in the ER.
How many hours a week do you work?
It varies. Typically I work probably about 25, so about 50 hours pay period.
Does your mother work?
Yes, she works full-time.
And how old is she?
She is 54.
And how old are you?
I'm 22.
Okay, so we have a 22-year-old and a 25-year-old who work part-time, and we have their mother, who's 54, who works full-time. Sounds right. Sounds like the direction of the country.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Do you still have a car?
No, no longer.
What happened to the car?
I no longer drive, so I went ahead and canceled my insurance and decided to go ahead and get rid of the car, and I take the bus to and from work. Ma'am.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Chelsea McDonald says her sister, Jordan McDonald, owes for a loan to fight her DUI.
Now, when did you get a DUI?
Back in February 2016. It was February 21st, the day before my birthday.
And your sister gave you a credit card in order to put you had to pay legal fees?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
And when she gave you the credit card, did it have a zero balance? Wait, she has the records. So when you had this conversation with her about your need to hire a lawyer and to get this case going, a zero balance.
That's what she told me, yes.
And you took it, the credit card.
As a gift.
Just a second, just answer my questions. You took it, correct?
Yep, I sure did.
So I assume you believed her when she said it had a zero balance.
I did.
Well, if someone is making you a gift, why would that be an important thing for her to tell you that it had a zero balance? If she was making you a gift of this credit card, what difference does it make if it had a zero balance or if she already had $10,000 on it? Can you think of a reason she might say, no, it has a zero balance, so whatever you put on the card is going to be your responsibility when you get a job?
Well, as my sister, I assumed I could trust her.
You assume you could trust her?
I assumed
That's what she assumed. She assumed she could trust you. And at the time, your sister and your mother were living with you.
Yes.
Then you had an argument. And the argument was about a car that your sister had borrowed that belonged to you?
Yes.
That she damaged?
Correct.
When was that?
This was late July of 2016.
How did you damage the car?
I was putting gas into it, and I drove it back to the house, and next thing I know it, she's blaming me for damages, and I did not wreck the car at all.
You were putting gas in it for whom?
Because I borrowed the car from her.
Where did you take it?
I believe I stopped at the gas station to put gas back into the car, and I went straight home.
What happened with the car? She wouldn't know the truth if it came up and slapped her in the face.
I let her borrow the car to make some errands. She went to the gas station up the street from her house to put gas in for what she used. She was watching my backup camera that I have on my dashboard, and she wasn't watching the front end of the car, and she hit either a rail or a pole by the gas station that protects the gas pumps.
And there was a scratch on the car or something?
It was dented, the whole side of it, the fender.
Now, when she came home from putting gas in the car, what did she say to you?
She didn't say anything. At first, she walked in with a paint kit that she purchased from Walmart to try to patch up.
Oh, so she went to try to fix the car?
Yes.
And try to match the paint?
Correct.
At Walmart?
Yes.
You remember that?
I do not.
Too much booze.
A little bit too much.
When she walked in, I asked her what this was. I texted her first and said, "Where are you? You've been gone for a while." She says, "I have a surprise for you." That was my surprise. It was my car.
So then you had a fight, whatever.
Yes.
Okay, and that's why how much did she use on your credit card?
She used a total of $2,105.49 is what I'm currently still with her.
May I see it, please?
Everything.
Joel is the lawyer that you used?
Yes, Your Honor.
And there are some miscellaneous charges that I allowed her to charge on the account to help her get by when she was in between jobs.
What's PNC Bank?
There, ma'am, I had to take a cash advance to pay off a title loan that she took against her car. I had to pay it in cash or a cashier's check,
A title loan she took against her car?
Yes, at that time she did have a car. She was having some issues before her DUI, so she took a loan to help herself out. You know, she didn't tell myself.
Do you remember taking out a car loan against your car?
Yes.
Who paid for it?
She did, as a gift.
Grow up.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, paid a lot of money to Mr. Was he successful in dealing with your DUI?
Yes, I no longer have a DUI on my record.
Did you plead guilty to the DUI?
No.
So it was a good thing that your sister gave you this card and you had Mr. It was a good thing, right? Do you still have a car?
No, no longer.
What happened to the car that you had that she paid off the title loan on?
I no longer drive my insurance, and I no longer decide to go ahead and get rid of the car, and I take the bus to and from work.
Ma'am. She got caught driving under suspension.
What?
She got caught driving under suspension. They impounded the car. I was going to help her get it out, and I decided not to.
You don't have to deal with her. Let your mother deal with her.
Yes.
$2,105.49.
I have evidence right here that shows that it was a gift. I think it's the
$2,105.49. Judgment for the plaintiff.
It shows right here that
we're
she
done.
Will pay for whatever. Don't worry about the credit card bill. You owe me. I will pay it.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
What were you going to do with the trailer?
I was going to grow some marijuana.
Where?
In the trailer.
Neighbors feel burned after renting their RV.
He told me he was camping, that he needed the trailer to live in. Am I right?
They say you don't get your deposit back.
Now a family's on the line of fire.
This person called Children's Services on us simply because for $1,000.
Some moron like you has to be punished.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This Silkwood is suing neighbors Susan Burkhart and her husband, Victor Ramirez, for the return of his deposit on a trailer, as well as the money he spent to fix it up.
Order. All rise. Your Honor's case number 273 on the calendar in the matter of Silkwood versus Burkhart Ramirez.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat, huh?
Mr. Silkwood, how did you meet the defendants?
We're neighbors.
How long have you been neighbors?
About 5 years.
Do you have your own home?
I do not. I rent the back house of my parents' house.
And you own your own home?
Yes, we do.
That's correct.
Some time ago, Mr. Silkwood, according to the complaint that I read, you made an arrangement with the defendants to rent a trailer that they own.
Correct.
And you made an arrangement to rent that trailer for a period of 3 months.
Yes.
What were you going to do with the trailer?
I was going to grow some marijuana.
Where?
In the trailer.
Where were you going to put the trailer?
At a friend's property in Paris, California.
Did you tell the defendants what you were going to do with the trailer?
Yes, I did.
Tell me what you told them.
I asked him if he wanted to let me use his trailer. He said, for what? I told him I was going to grow some marijuana, and he was all stoked for the idea. He was all, hey, let's do it.
But you were
He told us he was camping here.
The inside of the trailer to grow marijuana?
Correct.
Not live there and grow the marijuana outside.
No, inside the trailer.
Is that what he told you he wanted
No,
the trailer
Your
for?
Honor,
What
he
did
told
say?
me he was camping, that he needed the trailer to live in for 3 months.
How much were you going to pay for the trailer, sir?
$1,000.
Is that correct?
No.
$1,500.
$1,500.
But he gave you a $1,000 deposit.
That's correct.
On what date?
July 23rd. With the balance of $500 paid, we'll get back from North Carolina because we were taking off our vacation at that time.
So you let him take the trailer, he gave you $1,000, and then you left on vacation?
Yes.
Yes, we did.
Okay, and this is what I gather happened, Mr. Silkwood. The defendants helped you take the trailer to this friend's property where you were going to leave it.
Correct.
And stay with it.
Correct.
And they left.
Yes.
And later you had a conversation with your friend that said you can't leave the trailer here.
Correct.
So somehow you got the trailer back to their property.
Yes.
How did you get it back to their property?
I borrowed a friend's truck.
And you moved the trailer back to their property. And what this lawsuit is about is you want your deposit back.
Correct.
Well, you want a little more than your deposit back for some reason. I don't know what that reason is, because you cleaned up the trailer or did something to it. Who cares? You want your deposit back. And they say you don't get your deposit back. Not their fault. that your friend told you to get the trailer off the property.
Exactly.
That's what the case is about.
Exactly.
So far. Is there anything that I don't understand?
Well, the trailer didn't have valid registration on it. That's why I was asked to remove it.
Who cares? You took it without a valid registration.
Yeah, I didn't know that prior.
Whose fault is that?
That's my fault.
Right. Just for my own information, you were intending to grow this marijuana for what purpose?
So I didn't have to pay for it. It's very expensive.
Okay, you have a cross-complaint.
Yes, I do.
Yes, we do, Your Honor.
Your cross-complaint is that
This person called the Department of Children's Services on us and had them come out to my home.
Yeah, I see that.
And talk to our children about their father being a meth addict. They were showing my 13-year-old and my 15-year-old.
On what date did you return the trailer?
I believe it was the 25th.
Of what?
July.
And you've been their neighbor for 5 years?
Correct.
How many children did they have?
3.
Have you interacted with them and their children in the past?
Yes.
Have you ever called Child Protective Services with regard to them in the past?
No.
On what date did you call Child Protective Services?
On the 27th.
On the 27th of what?
July.
Is that before or after you spoke to them?
After.
And they told you that they were not refunding your deposit?
Exactly.
Yes.
Well, what in Child Protective Services?
Out of safety for their children. I'm a parent myself, and...
You felt no need to call Child Protective Services in the 5 years that you've been their neighbor, but it was the day that they refused to give you your deposit back that you decided that you were sufficiently concerned for the welfare of their children to make that call? Is that what you want me to believe?
It was a derogatory comments made by
It was a what?
It was a comment made by the defendant
Well,
about a young woman.
Just a second. By which of the defendants?
The male.
And that comment was?
It was about a young girl's breast in about the 6th grade.
Tilly.
Anything else? Is there anything else?
Yes, we have a text, Your Honor, from him on this phone threatening to call the Children's Protective Services simply because for $1,000.
Just a second. Just 1 second. I'd like to see the text.
Sir.
Just give it to him.
Right there. Let's scroll with the arrows.
Is it on the scroll page?
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Okay.
Your Honor,
So
I just want to say it was very, very, very frightening for my children.
Just a second. There's no question. There are 2 things that I'm going to say, and then this case is over. I'm dismissing your claim. The fact that your friend told your contract was for $1,500. The $1,000 was merely a deposit. Actually, they're not even suing for the remainder of the $500 on their counterclaim, because the fact that you chose to put the trailer someplace where it couldn't remain, that's your problem. Okay, so your claim is dismissed. They're countersuing for $3,000 for your malicious call to Child Protective Services.
Yes.
And I'm granting their counterclaim for $3,000 for maliciously calling Child Protective Services for 2 reasons. 1, because it was malicious and it frightened these 3 children. These 3 children were children that you knew well for 5 years. And the call that you made was a direct result of a business affair having nothing to do with the welfare of the children. Now, that's egregious towards them. But it's equally egregious with regard to Child Protective Services, an organization that is limited in their ability to address real issues of child endangerment because of staffing, and some moron like you who calls them over a business deal gone awry has to be punished. You don't use the system to get even with somebody and put children at risk and stretch otherwise limited resources. Sir, we're done.
Thank you.
Step up.
Thank you.
Ripped me off.
How dare someone do this to you?
I paid them $1,000, and they gave me a shoddy trailer.
You didn't have a place to go.
Never again.
Ain't no friend of mine.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Anderson versus Trammell. Step forward.
Danita Anderson is suing her former tenant, Lavelle Trammell, for unpaid rent and damages to her rental unit.
Miss Anderson, you rented a unit that you owned to Mr. Trammell and claimed that you were forced to evict him. He owes you some rent, and he damaged the premises when he left.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Trammell, well, he sort of is fuzzy about the rent part. It's sort of like, oh, well, I paid part of it, and I tried to pay the rest of it, and she wouldn't take it, whatever. So Mr. Trammell actually probably acknowledges that he owes you some rent for the time he actually lived in the house. Maybe not. We'll see. So let's take care of the rent first. Mr. Trammell, when did you move in to the residence owned by Miss Anderson?
November 2015.
Did you sign a lease?
Yes, I did, ma'am.
Do you have a copy of that lease?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to see it. Through November 30th, 2016, it was $500 a month. You still working for Quicken Loans?
Yes, ma'am.
You work security, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Why did you only give her partial rent in August of 2016?
The reason I gave her partial rent because the job that I does is a seasonal job. So at the end of the season, it kind of slowed down.
What kind of season?
As the basketball season winds down, we get kind of slow, so it's kind of slowed up.
So how much of the $500 did you give her?
I gave her exactly $300.
Now, had you always given her her money in check or cash?
I normally pay by money orders.
And you retain a copy of the money order?
Some of them I have.
Well, you should have all of them. Could you stand still? I'm getting a little seasick, and I know I'm not on a boat.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He also owed $500 for July. I allowed him to
just a minute, we didn't get to that. Do you have your money order receipt for July?
Not handy, but I have a copy of it.
If it's not handy, make it handy.
And later today,
on the 15th of December, did you have liability insurance on your car?
Exactly the day I didn't have the insurance.
So that's why we're here?
Not because of that.
Yes, exactly because of that.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Danita Anderson says her former tenant, Lavelle Trammell, owes for rent and for destroying her rental unit. Lavelle is countersuing for an unlawful eviction and for withholding his property.
Okay, so you owe her $200 for August, unless you tell me you paid her that money. Did you pay her the $200 for August?
When I
Just answer my questions. Did you pay her the $200 for August?
When I attempted to pay, she refused my money.
That's not what I'm asking you, sir. Did you pay her $200 in August?
Your Honor, when I offered to pay the lady the remaining balance, she would not take my money.
When did you offer to pay her?
I offered to pay her the 1st of September when I was getting ready to pay my next month's rent.
She didn't want your rent for August and September. You'd already breached your lease. So the answer is you never paid her the $200 in August. Now, did you stay in the apartment in the month of September?
No, ma'am.
You left on September 15th.
Correct.
Now, do you want to tell me why, if it's true, that he offered you the $200 that he owed you for August and September's rent on September 1st, I assume?
For July.
He didn't pay in July?
No. And so I allowed him to
just a minute, we didn't get to that. Do you have your money order receipt for July?
Not handy, but I have a copy of it. And in previous months, I have also paid late.
Just a second. If it's not handy, make it handy. Where is it?
It's not handy right now, ma'am.
So he owes you $500 for July and $200 for August. When did you give him a 30-day notice?
He was given a 3-day notice.
3-day notice.
The 1st of September.
And at that time, did he offer to tender any money?
No, ma'am.
Not true, Your Honor.
Show me. Listen to me. Show me the money order for $1,200 that you had in hand because you owed her $500 for July, $200 for August, and $500 for September. That would have been $1,200. All I need from you is proof, because hopefully this receipt will be handy. The handy proof that you tendered to her the $1,200 that you then owed her starting September 1st. I'll wait. You can look.
Oh, we can proceed. I don't have them handy right now, ma'am.
So that means he owes you $1,200 because he stayed until September 15th.
I will say this, Your Honor.
He stayed until September.
I didn't ask you to say anything.
He actually stayed until... Oh.
When did he stay?
Okay, so September 15th is when he moved out, but he actually was on the premises on the 24th and destroyed the apartment and left on the 24th. And after he left...
He's paying for the whole month of September.
Okay.
Anyway.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm getting to the damages that he did.
$1,200. We're not talking about the damage.
Okay.
So far.
Okay.
Now, who saw him on the premises? Because he said he was forced to leave on September 15th. Did you see him on the premises on the 24th?
I actually live in Virginia. This is my property manager who lives directly across the hall from him.
Okay. Would you stand up, please? Tell me your last name.
Maureen.
Miss Maureen, did you see Mr. Trammell at the apartment on the 24th of September?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me the circumstances.
I woke up the morning of September the 24th. I heard some bumping in the apartment across the hall. I opened up my door. Mr. Lavelle was walking around saying, "This building, I'm out of here. I'm gone." And I saw the lady there sitting with him. She was picking up stuff, taking it out the apartment. After they left, I went into the apartment. The cabinets was hanging off the wall. I immediately texted her. I said, "They destroyed your cabinets. They pulled the sink off the wall."
May I see photographs of what you found?
Pictures. And then the after is the damages.
Stand up. Last name?
Thomas.
Did you go to the apartment with him on the 24th?
Yes.
Would you show this to Miss Thomas? Look at me. Did you do that?
Of course not.
How do you think that happened? Look at me. Look at me.
When I come visit him, the house was completely, it was...
I'm showing you two specific pictures. Do you want to answer me how those cabinets got pulled off the walls?
I have no idea.
Okay, I'll take them back now. Now you can sit.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You had a stop sign, and it was your responsibility to stop until the road was clear.
Which it was.
No, it wasn't. You're supposed to drive defensively and wait for her to leave.
She was in her number one lane, though.
I don't care if she was on Mars.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Danita Anderson says her former tenant, Lavelle Trammell, owes for rent and for destroying her rental unit. Lavelle is countersuing for an unlawful eviction and for withholding his property.
Now, nasty man.
Not at all.
Amount to $5,000. There's at least $5,000 worth of damage there, and my maximum is $5,000. That's what you get. Your counterclaim for unlawful eviction is dismissed. I would have evicted you too. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
That damages was done by her and her crew.
He was a horrible tenant.
But that's okay, no problem. Small thing to a giant.
And I'm glad he's gone.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter, Tucker versus Gonzalez Dudoreva. Step forward.
Michael Tucker is suing fellow motorist Anna Gonzalez Dudoreva for causing an accident when she made a lane change in an intersection.
This is a car accident that happened in December. Is that correct?
Yes.
On the 15th.
Correct.
The stop sign there is where your car was coming from. Is that correct? What kind of car were you driving?
Lexus LS400.
What year?
93.
On the 15th of December of last year, did you have insurance on your car?
Yes, I did.
Liability.
Correct.
What kind of car were you driving?
Toyota Solara 2006.
On the 15th of December, did you have liability insurance on your car, and with whom?
Exactly the date I didn't have the insurance.
So that's why we're here. We're here because you didn't have insurance.
Not because of that.
Yes. So, Mr. Tucker, would you go over so that you can show me exactly what happened? You're coming out of your community, and?
I'm coming out of my community. I stop at the stop sign, look left. I see her way up the road in the number one lane, which is the one to the left. I look to the right, check for pedestrians. I look left one more time. She's still in her lane, the number one lane. So I pull out and occupy the number two lane. She decides to change lanes from the number one lane into the number two lane without signaling. And I was always told that you never change lanes in an intersection anyway. But she hits me. The point of impact happens in the number two lane, which clearly shows that she's at fault.
Well, that suggests that you hit her. That diagram suggests that you hit her.
No. And the reason I say that is because I'm in
Well, that's what your diagram shows, that the front of your car hit the rear of her car.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
I'm just telling you, Mr. Tucker,
yes,
that demonstrates that your mock-up of the accident demonstrates that you hit her in the rear.
When I'm at the stop sign, I'm at 0 miles per hour. Before she gets to that lane, and then she slides over into me and hits me.
Okay, Mr. Tucker, now you can step back. course, it's not what she says happened. She says she was in that lane. I don't care what she says, actually. And I usually don't side with the people who are driving without insurance. But based upon what you're telling me, you had a stop sign, and it was your responsibility to stop until the road was clear.
Which it was.
No, it wasn't, because if she's coming down at 40 miles an hour, you're supposed to drive defensively and wait for her to leave.
She was in her number one lane, though.
I don't care if she was on Mars. If you see a car barreling down at 40 miles an hour, you wait for that car to pass.
No.
Well, so your case is dismissed. Tell it to somebody else. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
She changed lanes in the intersection and hit me.
When I was passing the intersection, he hit me.
She told me that she had insurance. We exchanged information.
Just one day, it wasn't insured.
She totally lied to me. She was uninsured.
I'm not a liar. I just didn't know that I didn't have the insurance just one day.
This was the beginning of the end.
A couple's final clash.
So you were both a little inebriated and you had an argument?
Yes, where he tapped.
A real assault.
He picked up a vase and threw it at me, threw my toaster oven at me.
She threw a vase at me. I ducked. It went and hit her oven.
When two people get drunk and have a fight, I'm not getting in between that.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Jennifer Matchey is suing her ex-boyfriend, Jerry Heck, for an unpaid loan to buy a motorcycle, an insurance deductible, and an assault.
Order. All rise. Your Honor's case number 246 on the calendar in the matter of Matchey versus Heck.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated, ma'am. Have a seat.
Miss Matchey, the defendant and you were a couple and lived together, according to what I read, for about 2 years?
No, ma'am, we were not living together. We did
Never?
date. No, never.
Did you have your own home?
I did. I had an apartment. I have an apartment, which I've had since October of 14.
When did you and the defendant begin a relationship?
In September of 14.
This case has many components. Let me try to simplify it if I can. One is for a loan.
Correct.
Which you say you took out on his behalf with a promise for him to pay that loan. It was a motorcycle. You bought a motorcycle, sir?
I already owned a motorcycle, ma'am.
You were paying out?
I was paying out payments on it.
You were making payments. And at what interest rate?
29.9%.
Which is very high interest. When had you purchased the motorcycle?
Purchased my motorcycle in June of 2013.
So about a year before you met the plaintiff.
Yes, ma'am.
And you were making payments on it faithfully?
Yes, ma'am.
At some point, that motorcycle was paid off by a new loan that the plaintiff took out on your behalf.
Yes, ma'am.
When was that?
I believe February of 2015. Correct, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
14.
It was refinanced by me January 30th of 2016.
And what was the interest rate then?
4.9.
Quite a difference. Now, you were still dating in January of 2016?
Yes, ma'am.
So in February, the first payment would have been due on the new loan, correct?
Correct, ma'am.
Who paid that?
I did, ma'am.
And what about in March, the next payment? And what amount were those payments, sir? What
They were
was the
$155.
monthly? And what had you been paying a month?
$270.
Did you make March's payment as well?
Yes, ma'am.
In the amount of $155?
Yes, ma'am.
What about April?
Yes, ma'am.
There came a time when you stopped making the payments.
Yes, ma'am.
In what month?
I made the first 5 payments.
So you May and June.
Yes, ma'am.
Why did you stop?
Because she was to be taking over the payments at that time. I agreed to pay the first 5 payments.
Why was she supposed to make the payments?
I did not sell her the bike. She used the bike as collateral to obtain money to pay for a custody battle she had with her ex. She had to pay the lawyer, and that was the purpose of the bike being refinanced, to obtain cash.
Was the loan that she took out greater than the loan that you
Yes,
had?
ma'am. $2,084.
What was the remaining balance on the... This is getting more complicated. The remaining balance when it was refinanced in January of 2016 was how much?
$3,500.
Was the remaining balance on
Yes,
your
ma'am.
loan? And how much of a loan did you take out?
I took out a loan for approximately $5,600.
Okay. Which means that you had more than enough money to pay off his loan. What did you do with the other $2,000?
Actually, they gave him a check, which I have right here, and he cashed it.
May I see it? He can cash it. What I'm asking you is the loan that was outstanding was only $3,500 left.
Correct. And then he got to keep the difference. That's the check that my bank gave him because he sold me the bike for that amount, or ultimately sold the bike to me because I wanted the title in my name and the loan and such.
Well, he had already been paying off this bike for a couple of years.
He was 2 months behind, and he had asked me for approximately 2 weeks. I was resistant at first and hesitated also prior to doing it. However, he was my boyfriend. I loved him, and I wanted...
Well, that's sort of interesting. He was my boyfriend, and I loved him. I need collateral.
Oh, collateral? I know. I refinanced his motorcycle for him.
I understand that, but then you wanted it in your name.
Absolutely, because it was my loan.
I understand. But it sort of doesn't go together with I love you, but now I'm going to take out this loan, but now I want it in my name. It probably good sense. What did you do with the motorcycle? You sold it.
Yes, ma'am.
Because the original company that you had financed with sent you the title because there was no longer a lien on it because you paid off the lien.
Yes,
Is that
ma'am.
right? And in what month and year did you sell the motorcycle?
June 13th
of this year,
2016.
To whom?
The motorcycle dealership that I originally purchased it from.
Did you buy another motorcycle?
No, ma'am.
So you sold it back to the company?
Yes. I was having no luck on Craigslist, and
You were what?
I needed selling it myself, and I'm laid off, and I needed money.
Fine. How much did you get for it?
$4,000, ma'am.
How much is left on the loan?
The balance of insurance, interest.
I'm not getting involved with that. Tell me, sir, about this money that you needed for a lawyer for a custody battle.
She was in a battle with daughter's father, and there was a guardian of a litem appointed to the case, and she had came from her last court date, and he had won. She was losing, and he had gained full custody, and he got that she had to pay half of her charges, which was
half of the guardian's charges.
Yeah, which was a couple thousand. So she needed money, and she was off on disability, so she wasn't able to do it. And also, her car was upside down, so we used my bike to use as collateral for her to take, because it had equity in it.
She took out some cash, but she also paid off your bike.
Yes.
Okay. But if the loan was $5,600, sir, let's just say it was $3,500, you made 5 payments of $155. That's still a lot of money that you owe her, because you sold the bike and took all the benefit.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's say it's just $3,500, and that I believe everything you say about the lawyer, because that's too convoluted for you to make up. But you made 5 payments of $155. Forget about it, everything else, insurance or anything for the moment. $155 times 5 equals $775. And let's say the original loan was $3,500 equals $2,725. And to that, I'm going to add a nice round number, so it comes to $3,000 because you haven't paid money and there was interest on it. So now you owe her $3,000. So you got $4,000. So you ended up with $1,000 for the motorcycle. But I can see no reason why you shouldn't pay her back this $3,000.
I didn't have a problem with that, ma'am. After I sold the bike, I paid 2 payments after I sold the bike, or 1, whatever it is. But she came to me that her credit union was upset that there's no insurance on the bike. Well, I didn't have a bike to insure. So she went to take the, she's telling me she's going to sue me, which we're doing right now. And I said, let's just get an agreement. Because at this time, which I should have done in the beginning, was get a written agreement how we did all this. I learned my lesson on that. And she refused. All she wanted was the full payment. She didn't want to drag it on. We were broke up, but I had no access to do that.
And you should have paid her when you sold the bike in June. Anyway, so far you owe her $3,000. Now you have other parts to this lawsuit. You claim that you had a fight with him and he assaulted you.
Yes,
on
ma'am.
what date?
On April 20th, 2016. This was the beginning of the end.
Just a second. When was the last time you dated? I thought that was in June.
No, it was in April when we had the altercation, and I got upset. And
over this money?
No, it
Over
wasn't
what?
even about the motorcycle. It was just general, tension that was coming between us. I was unhappy. So after some cocktails, he tends to not really...
Did you have cocktails or just him?
Oh, no, I did too.
So you were both a little inebriated and you had an argument?
Yes.
Okay.
Where he tackled
Fine.
me.
Okay, fine. Did you go to the hospital?
Yes, I actually had to go to Aspen Orthopedic. It was a re-injury of my rotator cuff. and have an MRI done and such. The police did come and take him, of course, as well, and they said that I will need another rotator cuff surgery.
What were you on disability for?
For the original rotator cuff incident.
We're going to leave that. We're going to come to insurance deductible.
Yes, ma'am. He actually came a couple of days later after the police took him away and showed up at my door. And I don't know how he got in my locked building. And when I opened the door, I was shocked to see him, certainly. He walked in and he said he needed to get something. I said, "You're not allowed to be in the building." He then came in, was trying to make himself comfortable. I was very uncomfortable myself. Conversation ensued. I might have said something about his father. He thought that was derogatory, which was not my intention at all. He picked the living room, kept throwing stuff through my toaster oven at me, broke tons of stuff, and therefore I had to file an insurance claim. They paid most of it, but except for $500, my deductible, which I have that documentation.
I'd like to see it. How did her property get destroyed, sir?
She threw a vase at me. I ducked. It went and hit her oven. And the police took me to my sister's and my mother's. They did not take me to jail. I'm a 300-pound guy. If I would hit her, they'd know it.
I'm not...
Yeah.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
When two people get drunk and have a fight, I'm not getting in between that.
Yeah, when she started in, I should have left, but I was drinking, so I couldn't drive to leave.
That's what happened that night. Two of you had too much to drink and had a fight.
And later today...
So you called him and said, could you loan Adrian money to buy a car?
No, ma'am.
Oh, I don't believe that. That you called him and said, could you lend Adrian money to buy a car and I'll pay you back when I sell the houses. He didn't make up that story.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Jennifer Matchey says ex-boyfriend Jerry Heck owes for a loan for a motorcycle, an insurance deductible, and an assault.
Okay, listen. When two people get drunk and have happened that night, the two of you had too much to drink and had a fight.
Yeah, when she started in, I should have left, but I was drinking, so I couldn't drive to leave.
I'm just asking you whether or not you picked up any of the stuff in her house and threw it. She threw the vase at you first?
Yes.
What'd she say about
She
your
hit
father?
me first.
She
Started
hit you
punching me in
first.
the back. The previous incident, she punched me in the mouth, and I just shoved her off, and she was drunk, so she stumbled into the wall, and that's where she injured her shoulder.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. And there was no...
And they took me home that time, too. I've never been to jail.
Just 1 second. And at that time, at the time that he came into your apartment, you had a temporary protective order, is that right?
No, I got it after that.
So you didn't have any protective order, so what do you mean he's not allowed in your building?
My manager of the building, because she witnessed the police.
Don't tell me what she witnessed. I'm not interested in what you think somebody else witnessed. And I'm not interested in what you think she said.
Well, that's what she
All I'm asking you is, at the time that he entered your apartment and you let him in for the second time after this alleged incident when you were both drunk, you had no protective order.
Correct.
Okay, fine. Did you have a trial for the protective order, sir?
No, ma'am.
You did not?
No.
Did you consent to her having a protective order?
No, I was just told later on that she had filed one.
Did you ever get a permanent protective order?
No.
He owes you $3,000 for the loan, and that's it. Judgment of your claims are dismissed. We're done.
Please excuse me, step out.
I believe it was fair.
I'm certainly, happy that I got awarded the $3,000.
She got injured when she hit me in the mouth, and I pushed her away.
He got drunk and threw me against the wall, and it's that simple.
Hopefully, she learns her lesson like I've learned mine.
I just want it to be peaceful. Just go our own ways and call it a day.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Bird versus Eastles. Step forward.
24-year-old Craig Bird Jr. and his mother, Julie, are suing Craig's grandmother, Ninfa Islas, for an unpaid loan and stolen property.
Mr. Bird, this is your grandmother,
Yes, ma'am.
and this is your mother.
Yes.
Which one of you loaned her the money for the car?
I did, Your Honor.
And it is your claim that you loaned your grandmother this money so that she could purchase a car or assist in purchasing a car for her son. Now, when did you loan her the money?
On June 8th, 2015, Your Honor.
Tell me the circumstances surrounding you loaning her the money.
Well, the initial agreement was I'll loan her the money for her to get her son a vehicle, and she would repay me after she sold her houses, and that never happened.
Well, where were you when you had this conversation?
In Colorado.
And tell me what she said to you.
She asked me if I could loan her
Tell me
son.
exactly what she said.
She said, grandson, can you loan Adrian $2,100 to get a vehicle? I said, I don't know, that's a lot of money. She said, I will repay you when I get my houses. And when I sell my houses, you know, I'm putting them up to go for sale on the market.
Did she say when she was putting them up for sale?
No, but present time. They were already there for sale. So I knew that they were.
So she said, I'll pay you for the loan when I sell my houses.
Yes, ma'am.
Has she sold her houses?
Yes.
Did she pay any part of it when she sold the houses?
No, ma'am.
Why not?
Because I don't owe him any money.
No. Did he hand the money to you?
No, ma'am.
Who did you hand the money to?
I handed it to her son because he was in Colorado with me. She was in Texas selling her houses.
Ah, I see. Now I understand, Mr. Bird. Now I got it.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You have a ridiculous countersuit, which I probably won't even entertain. And I'm not entertaining your complaint for emotional distress, because the only one that's usually emotionally distressed after a day here is me.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Craig Berg Jr. and his mother, Julie, claim for a loan and stolen property. Ninfa is countersuing for damaged and missing property and motel expenses.
Okay, so you called him and said, could you loan Adrian money to buy a car?
No, ma'am.
You never called him?
No.
I don't believe that. He didn't make up that story. He didn't make up that story, that you called him and said, could you lend Adrian money to buy a car and I'll pay you back when I sell the houses. He didn't make up that story. Where is Adrian now? Do you know?
No, ma'am.
In the wind. Where's Adrian now?
I don't know.
Good. Did you sell any of the houses that you had up for sale?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. $2,100. That's for you. On the car.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Now, there's lots of other little issues here that I don't know whether we want to get into. You have a ridiculous countersuit, which I probably won't even entertain. And I'm not entertaining your complaint for emotional distress, because the only one that's usually emotionally distressed after a day here is me. You claim that at some point your grandmother took property from the house where she was staying that didn't belong to her.
Yes,
Did it belong to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me what she took.
She took miscellaneous items as rake, trash cans.
Listen, my parents didn't send me to school making trash cans between a daughter and a mother.
There were expensive items, an air conditioner.
Let's get to the expensive items that you claim she took.
There was an air conditioner and also a barbecue grill.
An air conditioner, a window air conditioner?
Yes.
Was it in the window?
No, it was in the garage where the items were that she took were.
Did you take an air conditioner when you moved out?
My home is central. I don't need it.
So the answer
I did not take it,
the
no,
answer
ma'am.
would be no. Okay. A barbecue grill. What kind of barbecue grill?
An outside barbecue grill, like a smoker. They also picked that up. We asked them to bring it back. They didn't bring it back.
Did you take the smoker?
That belongs to him.
Who is him?
Alfred Medina, my son.
You bought the smoker?
Yes, ma'am. I paid $25 for it, and it was mine. I took it.
Sit down. I'm not dealing with the smoker either. All right, so we're finished with you. You get your loan back of $2,100.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Are you in a family dispute? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Now, just for giggles, you want to tell me you came to live with them for a period of time. It didn't work. You had to leave. So you want them to pay for your motel expenses, the security deposit you had to put down on an apartment. Are those things that you think that they're responsible for?
Yes, ma'am.
They're not. Okay. How old are you?
I'm 58.
Well, then you'd be responsible for your own living expenses. Money owed for damaged and missing property. What property? And you notice how quickly I resolved their property issue of the rake and the smoker and the air conditioner from the garage. So I want you to tell me what missing property that you claim they have that belongs to you.
I have a Virgin Mary that is very priceless to me.
Okay. I can't help you with the Virgin Mary that's priceless to you. You don't have it anymore. What else?
In my property, I lost all my tools that I had recently used to remodel both of the homes that I had sold in Amarillo.
Counterclaim is dismissed. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,100. We're done. Thank you.
All are excused. You may step out. The German Shepherd took off.
So it was not on a leash?
Not at that time, no.
The neighbors saw it all unfold.
The German Shepherd was in front of Cody's house, sniffing around. And that's when his pit bull had came out.
And the attack was hard to watch.
The dog had then latched onto my dog's neck, pulling.
Her daughter, Krista, did have a lot of blood on her.
Your dog was...
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Laura Sazwa is suing her neighbor, 22-year-old Cody McMaster, for vet bills as the result of a dog fight.
Order. All rise.
Yes, case number 301 on the calendar in the matter of Sazwa versus McMaster.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ladies, have a seat, please.
Ms. Sazwa, it is your claim that while you and this is your daughter?
Yes.
Were walking your two dogs.
Right.
You have a large dog and a small dog.
Yes.
Show me where you live in relation to the defendant. I see you live where there's a P and defendant is the D.
I live here, and Cody lives right here. There is a small house that lives back between us, with a tenant there.
You were walking your dogs on what date at what time?
Okay, what had happened was we have a backyard, and we have actually 3 dogs. The 2 dogs that were going to be going out were a Chihuahua and a German Shepherd, and we chained them up. Went to chain up the German Shepherd, and I had the little one in my hand, and the German Shepherd took off.
The German Shepherd took off, so it was not on a leash?
No.
So the dog was not on a leash?
Right. She took off, went into his yard somehow, because he does have a fenced-in yard.
Okay.
The Chihuahua took off across the street. I yelled for Chris and my daughter here, hurry up and get a leash and go get Layla, because she was in Cody's
yard. Go get
yard.
Layla because Layla was on his property.
In his property. And so that's what she did. She would have got the leash. I went across the street and got the Chihuahua. Chris is walking out of his backyard, out of the driveway. A truck pulls up and knocks on Cody's door for a few seconds.
Okay, just a second. You glossed over that for me. So your daughter went and got a leash.
Yes.
Stand up. And what did you do when you got the leash?
I got the leash and I ran over to our defendant's property and grabbed the dog. I leashed her. I then walked to the front of his yard where the street lined up, and my mom was coming, and I...
Just a second. At that time, your dog was leashed?
Yes, Your Honor.
And at that moment, were you on his property or the street?
When I was walking my dog home, I was on the street.
You weren't home yet?
No.
So tell me what you saw.
I was waiting for my mom to bring my smaller dog with. We were going to go then walk them. There was someone at his house that opened the door. 2 large pit bulls came out.
Were you the one who opened the door?
No.
Who opened the door?
My roommate.
Who's not here?
No.
Well, what did she...
Her argument.
Okay, great. You were a neighbor?
Yes.
Okay, he wasn't home?
No.
Your last name is?
Rivera.
Okay, Miss Rivera. I want you to go over to that map and show me at what point you began watching the action.
Well, actually, I was in my driveway that...
Show me where you live.
Right here.
Okay.
But there's an empty lot right next door to my house.
Okay.
And my driveway is right in here.
Okay.
I was outside that afternoon cleaning out my trunk, and Laura's little dog came running across the street into my yard.
Okay. And when she came running across the street into your yard, I assume Miss Sazwa came and got her.
Yes.
Did you see her daughter?
No.
So far her story is correct.
Yes.
That the dogs got out, the Chihuahua ran across the street, she went to get the Chihuahua.
Yes.
What's the next thing that you saw?
As she had her dog in her arms, she was walking back across the street towards her property, and her German Shepherd was following behind her.
Behind
her? Yes.
Behind?
Laura. I don't know her. I'm sorry, I don't know her last name.
Okay, so her German Shepherd was following behind her, and...
Yes. As she was walking back, the German Shepherd had stopped in front of Cody's house.
Where exactly?
Right here in the front yard, because he's got to pull in front of Cody's house, in front of his driveway, sniffing around.
Okay, on the lawn, because you're pointing to two different areas. You're
I'm sorry.
Pointing to
yes,
two different
this is
areas.
Cody's yard right here in the front.
Okay, that's the front yard.
Yes.
Where was the dog sniffing around?
In the front yard, just because he's got a couple trees and stuff out there.
Okay, go ahead.
And that's when someone came and knocked on Cody's door, and they had opened up the door, and that's when his pit bull had came out.
Did you see what happened when his pit bull
Yes, I
came?
did. At first, they were just growling. I'm sorry. At first, they were just growling, you know, like barking and
So you
growling.
observed this?
Yes.
At any time, did you see this young lady?
Only at the end of it when she had jumped in and tried to separate them.
That's the first time you saw her?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
When the dog came out, the roommate was able to, like, kind of get him to, like, stand away for a second, but they were both kind of just, like, growling and, you know, antagonizing each other. And that's when they kind of just, they both went in for each other. They both just launched in.
Now, when they went after each other, I'm going to ask you to make one more trip back to that poster. When they were going after each other, can you show me where?
More towards the front of Cody's house in the street on Arthur.
So they were in the street?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Now you can go back. And it was at that point that you saw this young lady?
Yes.
Trying to get them apart?
Yes.
When did you see Mr. McMaster?
About maybe 5 to 7 minutes after everything was happening, because his roommate had came out and they were throwing water on the dogs to separate them, and we couldn't get them apart. I mean, there were other people on the block that were, you know.
But they managed to get one of the dogs away, so it was just the 2 dogs that were fighting?
No, Your Honor, it was only 2 dogs involved in the fight, not 3.
No, but he has 2 pit bulls.
Yeah, but only one got out.
Was involved. Only one got out, and one was involved with the fight.
Right.
Okay.
At this point, everyone was just trying to separate them. Okay. And that's when Laura had ran inside and grabbed her cell phone and was saying, I'm going to call the cops. You know, my daughter's probably injured, because her daughter, Krissa, did have a lot of blood on her. And we all thought, you know, she did get, you know, punctured wounds or something because she was in the middle of the fight. But in reality, it was just the blood from the dogs latching onto each other.
I believe her.
You do?
I do.
She wasn't there.
I believe her. Your dog was out of your control and was actually on his property. If she were going to lie to me, she would make it a great lie. She would say that the fight took place in his front lawn, but it actually didn't. It took place in the street. It had moved out to the street.
Right, and it actually went a little further down, because that's where the dogs were just wrestling with each other. It moved further down, more towards Laura's house.
So it's a lesson for you. You had vet bills of $300 some odd. What?
Can I ask a question? Are you related?
No, just a second.
I'm sorry.
Ask.
I'm sorry.
Tell me what you want to ask her.
I wanted to know if they were related.
No.
They're not related. She's just telling the truth.
Well,
She's just telling the truth. Your dog was not leashed. You told that story because that story, if your dog was actually leashed and his dog was out of his control, then they would be responsible for your vet bills. But you have 2 dogs that were out of their owner's control, and they had a fight. And your dog got the worst of the bargain. What?
I would just like to do my my story of what had happened. It's quite different than hers.
You can tell whatever story you like. I'm telling you, I don't believe that you had your dog on a leash. You going to tell me you had your dog on a leash? But just a second. Are you going to tell me you had your dog on a leash?
In a moment.
The dog had then latched onto my dog's neck. My dog was scared to death and whining, and I fell to the ground. The dog had scratched me several times. Okay.
I don't believe your dog was on a leash during this fight.
And later today,
if you were told not to spray in May or June of 2015, did I get it?
You did.
Bingo.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Laura Saswa claims neighbor Cody McMaster is responsible for vet bills resulting from a dog fight.
Okay, you going to tell me you had your dog on a leash?
When the dog got attacked, my dog was on a leash.
Yes. Go show me.
Okay. The dog did get out, was in Cody's property, okay? So while I was latching my dog, someone banged on his door and said, they didn't say anything.
While you were latching your dog?
On the leash.
Go ahead.
I then brought my female dog, Layla, out to the street. My mom and I were gonna walk our dogs. We were already over here and the two dogs dove right at us. We were all the way over here and the dog had then latched onto my dog's neck, pulling and would not let go. My dog was not fighting back. The dog had scratched me several times. He has two dogs. The two dogs were out. The two roommates were able to get the first dog back in the house, and his second dog was the attacker. Okay.
I don't believe your dog was on a leash during this fight.
Your Honor.
What?
She was saying that my dog wasn't attacked, but I have pictures showing injuries from the fight.
I believe that your dog might have been injured. Pay for your own dog's injuries.
No, I know. I took care of him. I was just...
Yeah, pay for your own dogs. They were both out of control. She has a large dog. The large dog, A, was trespassing on your property at some point, so that you have two dogs who clearly are designed for protection. You have two pit bulls?
Yeah, pit bulls.
Mm-hmm. And you had her large dog that was on your property, was loose on your property, and I don't know what was going on inside because I would have actually liked to have heard the roommate, but you brought the right witness. Your case is dismissed. We're done. Pay your own vet bill.
Please excuse me. Step out.
He's irresponsible, and he knows that.
I feel like it was very fair.
If you're going to have an animal, take care of it.
We're neighbors. I mean, we got to live together.
Dogs are the ones that's going to suffer from this, from him being careless.
I hope we can be civil.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Larkin versus Nelson. Step forward.
Brady Larkin is suing James Nelson for car damage as the result of lacquer overspray.
Mr. Larkin, you maintain vehicles and some other vehicles because you're a collector.
Mm-hmm.
How many vehicles do you have?
370 El Caminos, and then...
Three what?
1970 El Caminos, and then 2 Harley Davidsons.
Okay. Do you have pictures of the cars?
I do.
I'd like to see them. And the storage unit, I assume, is a big one.
About 1,000 square feet.
Your claim is that Mr. Nelson was negligent in spraying some things that he had in his storage unit, which is in the same vicinity as yours. And because he was careless, gunk got on your cars or vehicles. When did you notice that these cars had gunk on them?
When I removed them from storage in the spring of 2016.
Give me the month.
April, I believe it was.
And prior to that, when had you seen the cars?
I've been in my unit a couple times over the winter, but
okay, well, give me prior to April of 2016. When did you see the cars?
I would suppose I stopped in there every month or so. I was in the same building at another unit that my business was in.
So you saw them a month before?
Right, but I didn't physically, take them out, wash them, and notice the damage.
So you don't know when this damage took place?
Sometime over the winter time.
Which is a long period of time. Okay, what is this a picture of?
That is the wall between Jim's unit and my unit. Shows that the previous tenant tried to seal up said leaks, I guess.
Leaks.
Well, the building is not the best construction. It's kind of a little lower income.
So could you describe this gunk that you found in April?
It's overspray. And, my witness can explain overspray a little better than I can. And
well, I would like to hear what that is.
Okay. Mike, and then
overspray. Tell me what your name is.
Mike Warner from Fargo Moorhead Custom and Collision. I have my own body shop. I've been doing paint work for about 40 years, 35 years. Overspray is a product from the air pressure in the gun turning the liquid into a spray form. It makes a mist, and it's a very fine mist, and it can get in any cracks like a gas. So any adjacent rooms, if you don't have proper ventilation, the overspray can fall on it, but it's paint, so when it dries, it doesn't come off so easy.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
When you buff it, it does come off.
Yes. Sometimes you got to work harder than others, depending on how thick it is.
Well, sometimes I work harder, sometimes you work harder, sometimes a fix is easy, sometimes you're sweating over it.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Brady Larkin says James Nelson owes for car damage as the result of lacquer overspray.
Machine or chemical, and chemicals can obviously wreck some stuff.
Okay. When you buff it with a machine,
yes,
it does come off.
Yes. Sometimes you got to work harder than others, depending on how thick it is.
Sometimes I work harder, sometimes you work harder, sometimes a fix is easy, sometimes you're sweating over it. Now, what were you spraying, Mr. Nelson?
I sprayed, during the period of time that he had his vehicles in there, black paint, gray primer, white paint, gray primer, and green.
Were you supposed to be doing any spraying in the unit?
Sure. Been doing it for 14 years.
In that unit?
Yes.
And how long had your vehicles been in that unit?
From about late September, early October of 2015 until April of 2016.
So this was the first year that your cars were there?
Correct, and I was told that he was no longer spraying in his unit.
You can't tell me what you were told, sir.
Well, he was shut down by the Fargo Police Department for spraying in there and was...
Okay, but he had been doing it for 14 years.
He admits to it in writing that he was...
I'd like to see it.
That he was shut down.
No, I believe he was shut down. It doesn't mean he hadn't been doing it for 14 years.
Oh, for sure. All right.
Yeah. Do you have any pictures where I could see actually what this gunk looks like on your car?
Might have to turn the volume up.
Typically, overspray would only land on the upper parts because it would fall down here, but this is what normal paint feels like. Smooth. This is overspray. I mean, clearly you can feel and see the difference and hear it.
Did you buff off the overspray?
Not yet, no.
But you're going to?
Yes, well, we'd like to eventually, yes.
Mr. Nelson, you've used this storage unit for 14 years, and you've been spraying things in there for 14 years. Do you do that for a living?
Yes, I sprayed cabinets with a clear lacquer up until the spring before he came in there.
And had anyone been in the unit that he just started to rent?
Always.
And do you know what was stored in those units?
They're not so much storage, they're workshops. And what he's complaining about on his cars is a clear lacquer, which I used to spray a lot of. And I didn't spray a drop of any clear substance during that time.
You should start buffing off his cars. He's not getting $4,500 from the defendant. You have to show Mr. Larkin that somehow the defendant was negligent in what he was doing, which he had done for 14 years. How that he was negligent in doing what he did for me to be satisfied that he's responsible to pay you.
Well, he states in there that he sprayed in that time frame, and there's nobody else in the building that sprays it.
I didn't spray any clear lacquer.
Just a second. Do you rent the shed or do you own it?
We rent.
They rent just like he rents, just like you do.
Correct, but he was shut down and told not to spray in that unit.
Before this happened?
Before this happened.
Oh.
Yes, that's the...
Just a second. Well,
before I
that's
moved my vehicles
interesting.
in there.
That's interesting.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay. When did the fire department shut you down, Mr. Nelson?
May, June of 2015. But they didn't shut me down. They just said not to spray in there because of...
Just a second. If you were told not to spray in May or June of 2015... Did I get it?
You did.
Bingo.
If you were told not to spray in May or June of 2015 by the fire department, then you have a problem.
I quit spraying.
Mr. Nelson, I don't believe that. Somehow this happened. Discussion.
Sure.
It doesn't cost $5,000 to take a buffer and buff out.
No, it costs about $400 per vehicle.
Yes.
The bike's a little bit more. One motorcycle is a big, they call them baggers, and it's flat matte black. So there is no way to buff it off of that. You can't take chemicals off it. It'll ruin the finish. It'll shine it up. That's why the repaint is $2,000 on the one. And then to take the motorcycle apart is another estimate, I believe, from Pure Performance. But because the one bike has to be repainted to duplicate.
And are you going to do that?
Yes, if we get this settled, yeah.
The others can be buffed off.
Yeah, exactly.
Mr. Nelson, there's no question that you, in violation of what you were told by the fire department, sprayed after the time that you were told not to spray, and that's what was on his vehicles. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,600. We're finished. Thank you.
He doesn't have any green paint on his car.
Bodies are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy...
He's got clear paint on his cars, and I painted green paint.
Doing it too long with no ventilation, I think.
They were so dirty that I couldn't see anything.
They're my prized possessions.
So I quit spraying lacquer. I never sprayed a drop after that.
Check on your stuff a little more and see what your neighbor's up to.
Her dog didn't bite you, but it frightened you.
Panic over a dog on the loose.
He jumped the fence. He scared me out of my mind.
It's a pretty high fence.
I don't know what that dog would have did to my baby if I hadn't ran and grabbed her.
But the neighbor...
The city told me to put the gate up properly, and I did that.
Says she's barking up the wrong tree.
Who called the dog back?
Didn't anybody call the dog back. The dog was already in the gate.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Tasha Jones is suing her neighbor, Tasha Bell, for damages due to a dog attack
and harassment.
Order. All rise. Yes, case number 326 on the calendar in the matter of Jones versus Bell. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Ms. Jones, how long have you and Miss Bell been neighbors?
Actually, I've been staying in my house about 3 years. She wasn't living there at the time I moved in. She moved in there
How long have you been there?
Since November of 2015.
What kind of a dog do you have?
A Rhodesian Ridgeback.
How big a dog is that?
She comes to about right here.
And you had problems with this dog. That's
Yes,
what this
ma'am.
case is about. In this case, you allege that you were at loose. Her dog didn't bite you, but it
No.
frightened you.
Well, this is not the first time. Okay.
But it frightened you.
Right.
It frightened you, causing you to fall over and injuring yourself, and also your daughter
My
was
1-year-old, yes, is not here.
So I want you to tell me, what time of the day did this happen on September 19th?
Actually, it was the 20th. On the 20th, I was outside putting some water in my truck, so they let their dog out again. Like I said, they always...
Just a minute. They have a fenced-in yard.
Right. I got pictures to show you.
They have a
all that,
fenced
too.
yard.
Right. It's not properly secured. The gate has a tire holding the front of it up. So on this particular day, I'm outside putting some water in my truck, and they let the dog out. He starts barking immediately at my 1-year-old. So I keep her close to me, put some water in my truck, go back to fill my jug up again, and as I'm looking up, her dog is coming over the fence, but I have told Miss Bell on 3 or 4 more occasions to please put your dogs up. She has more than one dog, by the way.
Can I see pictures of the fence?
You want me to keep talking?
It's a pretty high fence.
It's not that high. She
Yeah,
put
it is.
those boards up there probably.
The car, because there's a car here.
And I'm going to tell you, when he ran back out my yard, he went through the front of the fence.
What do you mean he went through the front of the fence?
When not her daughter here, but when her other daughter, I was screaming for my life.
Just a sec. Hey, let's pay careful attention to me.
Yes, ma'am.
You told me a moment ago that the dog jumped over the fence.
Yeah, he jumped over the fence.
Now you said the dog went through the front of the fence.
When her daughter called him when I was screaming, she heard me screaming. He actually ran and went through the front of the fence to go back home.
To get back home, he went through the fence. But what you're telling me is that her dog jumped over this fence.
Right.
And it frightened you.
Frightened me and my daughter. I'm going to tell you, the reason why it frightened me, because a previous accident, her dogs jumped the fence and mauled my daughter here, over 20 bites, stitches, and stuff. So I wasn't going to let that happen again. She has not complied with the leash law for her dogs. Like I said, I have called my neighbor 3 or 4 times asking...
Was this dog taken away?
Oh, we gave that dog away. Taz did that. And that dog was given away.
It was 2 dogs.
If you were...
2.
And when that happened, my fence wasn't up.
Was not up?
It wasn't. And I did that.
No, ma'am.
Did you have homeowner's insurance?
Yes, ma'am. And she did file a claim.
And when was that?
That was the beginning of October of 2015.
And was that claim settled?
Yes, it was.
For how much?
$100,000.
No, ma'am. It was settled for $51,000.
That's probably what she got.
Just a second. I don't want you to interrupt her again.
Okay.
Did you have a lawyer?
Yes, ma'am.
What was the net amount that your daughter put in the bank?
The total amount was $51,000. When my daughter got through with the lawyer fees and everything, it was $32,000. Yes, ma'am.
But you collected that money?
Yeah, my daughter collected. It's in a trust fund for her.
Great. Actually doesn't make up for these injuries.
It doesn't. You're right.
It doesn't make up for the injuries.
My minimum was $100,000. It was a $500,000 liability policy, but they did give her the minimum of $100,000.
Do you still have it?
Through State Farm, yes, ma'am.
You still have the policy. Okay, and then
No. They canceled the policy after they paid her off.
Did you get another policy?
No.
You should have another policy. You have how many dogs?
3.
What
which
kind
is
are
2 only living there now.
One is a Rhodesian Ridgeback.
Yes, and the other one is like a little German Shepherd.
How little a German Shepherd?
It's maybe 4 months, almost 4 months.
So it's a puppy?
Yes.
You should have insurance. Homeowners.
Okay.
Get it. She'll own your house.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah.
I'm listening.
Judge, I just want to say, none of this is true what she's saying. My daughter could have been killed.
Just listen to me. We're not here to talk about your daughter.
Okay.
This happened a long time ago. You sued her. Your daughter was compensated for her injuries. And this dog, if I believe you, didn't bite you. You were frightened, you say, by the dog. And you fell.
No, I didn't fall. Actually, I was running with my jug in my hand. I threw my 1-year-old behind me, and I slipped and twisted my ankle. Threw my daughter behind me.
Just a second.
Head.
Just a second.
Here's the picture.
Shh, I'm speaking.
Okay.
So what you're telling me is that you were walking with your water jug.
To fill it up again, right.
Right. And you fell and
no,
you
I
slipped.
didn't fall until after I seen her dog coming charging towards my 1-year-old.
What did you fall on? How did you hurt yourself?
I didn't fall. Let's clear that up. I twisted my ankle trying to run and grab my 1-year-old and throw her behind me because I was scared that dog was going to tear my little 1-year-old apart. And I got the pictures to show it.
Show what?
Show the injuries on my daughter's head when I had to throw her behind me to protect her. Because, I mean, I don't trust my neighbor dogs. And I don't know what that dog would have did to my baby if I hadn't went to the emergency.
Could I see pictures of the baby, please?
And this the pictures, and I got the bills also, and where they wrapped my ankle with ACE wrap, and my daughter, they had to take x-rays of her head.
Now I'd like to see the police report that you filed.
I don't have a police report.
Why not?
Because
I want to see your report from animal control that you filed.
The one I tried to pull off my email, animal control sent it to me, but there's something wrong with my email, and I couldn't pull it out, but they did give me both reports, and I can't pull it out my email, and I don't know why.
On what date did you call the police?
The same day. They came out. I had a panic attack because I've been bit by a dog, and she's saying her dog's puppy.
Let me explain something to you. Doesn't do anything purposely. She was told to put up a fence. She put up a fence. It looks like a high enough fence. You say no. I say this looks like a chain link fence that could keep in a dog that she says is about 3 feet off the ground.
Yes.
3 feet off the ground. Ordinarily, this would be a reasonable fence to keep that dog in. I wouldn't think that that dog couldn't jump over this fence. You say it did. You were home.
Yes, ma'am.
Step up next to your mom. Tell me your first name.
Tykeria Washington.
You were home on that day?
Yes, ma'am. Inside the house, like yelling, stating that she was going to call the police.
And where was your mom?
She was outside.
Your mom was outside?
Yes, ma'am.
I want you to tell me what called your attention to the plaintiff that day.
When she was screaming, like yelling at the door, stating
Yelling at what door?
At her side door, she was yelling, stating that she was going to call the police.
So she was outside?
No, she was inside. She was inside yelling, screaming that
But with the door open?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And where was her baby?
I guess she was inside, too. The baby was
Had you
inside.
seen her outside before?
That day?
That day. Had you seen her outside near her truck with her baby?
Well, I didn't see, because I guess her water hydrant is behind the truck, so I didn't, like, really see, like, where she was.
How old is the Rhodesian Ridgeback, the dog?
She 1 year.
Have you ever seen her slip through the fence?
No, ma'am.
Do you remember when your mom put up the fence?
A couple weeks after the attack, she put the fence up.
And you've never seen your dog get through that fence?
No, ma'am.
Have you ever seen the dog get through that fence?
No, I never seen her jump over the fence, no.
Could you stand up? Tell me your first name.
Taylor Ross.
You see their dog in the yard frequently?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you ever see the dog scale the fence? Did you ever see the dog get through the fence?
No, ma'am.
I don't think this dog jumped over the fence.
Your Honor, he jumped the fence. He scared me out of my mind. When the ambulance came, my blood pressure was sky high. I'm scared of dogs, regardless of how little or small they are. I actually got bit by a dog. He jumped over that fence, and when he came back, he went through that gate where they don't have secure. I'm actually the one that told her about the kids that tore her fence down. I actually was the one
I'm not talking about then. I'm talking about now that the fence is up.
No, she told you that the fence got put up after my daughter got bit.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's been up and it's been in that condition. It actually hangs. That's what I'm going to tell you. The dog got over that fence that day. And her daughter, her oldest daughter, is the one that seen him in my face barking. Only thing that kept that dog from biting me in my 1-year-old was I had that jug in my hand. When her oldest daughter called that dog back.
What's your older daughter's name?
My oldest daughter's name is Tatiana Washington, and it was 2 daughters and my son that was out there. It was this one and it was Jalea. Jalea's only 13 years old. She was out there, and Jeremy, he's 21. He was out there, and myself.
On that day?
Yes, ma'am.
Who called the...
In the gate.
Okay, now I'll see your medical reports.
Mr. Bill's gonna be on top.
None of these reports has a write-up?
What you mean write-up?
A write-up of what you told the emergency room doctor.
It's on there, the head contusion for my daughter.
Just a
and
second.
The sprain for me.
Just a second. You have any other medical reports?
No, ma'am. That's all I have.
I find it hard to believe that a dog jumped over this fence.
He did, Your Honor. I can promise you that.
And the dog didn't bite you?
No, thank God he didn't bite me or my 1-year-old, because I threw her behind me. That's how she got that on me, because I grabbed her, and that's how they took the x-rays of her arm, because when we got to the emergency room, she didn't want to lift her arm, so they took an x-ray. I had to literally throw my daughter behind me, and I got a brick house, and wasn't no one out there when this happened, and that's the truth. Only person came to my rescue was her oldest daughter. I was hollering at the top of my lungs, somebody help, help. Nobody was out there.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I'm asking you the question. I'm prepared to make the call.
Right.
Which daughter was it?
It was the daughter. That's the daughter that I had to call the police
Just a
on.
second.
Her daughter came in my yard trying to fight me, by the way.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Tasha Jones says Tasha Bell owes for damages from a dog attack and harassment.
Now, where's your older daughter?
She probably at work. My oldest daughter works 3 jobs. That's when I know she wasn't the one she's talking
Just a second.
about.
That's who she says was there.
But I have a phone number.
Give me her cell number.
It's 812-82, and her name is Tatiana Washington.
Your Honor, that's not the name she called when the police came out. She called her Kayla.
Jalea, she's 13.
Just a second.
That's not the one, I'm sorry.
Well, I'm asking you the question. I'm prepared to make the call.
Right.
Which daughter was it?
It was the daughter that drives.
All of them drive.
I drive.
All of them drive. I have 4 daughters that drive.
That got the white car. She's the daughter that I had to call the police on. Her daughter came in my yard trying to fight me, by the way.
No.
The police came out.
All I'm asking is the person that I'm calling Tatiana?
I don't know her real name. I never got
Tatiana does have a white car. She does have a white car, but I'm telling you, she wasn't the one that was there.
I'm talking about the daughter that I'm
Jalea.
talking about.
The dog jumped over the fence. I think that the dog might have jumped at the fence and you got scared and grabbed your daughter. That's a possibility. And that is enough to make you nervous. I don't think that dog can get over this fence. You telling me that there was a child there of hers that called the dog back. I'm prepared to call that child.
I don't know if you're calling the right one or not.
What?
I don't know if you're calling the right daughter.
Because I have 6 daughters. Tatiana is the oldest.
Can't help.
And, Your Honor, I'm going to tell you, she has been harassing me from no end. I pull up and my daughter tell you, she started pointing at me. You already sued me once. You're not going to sue me again. Then the second time her daughter, the one I'm talking about that witnessed this, came in my yard and asked me, do you got a problem? I said, no, I have a problem. I'm just going to call your mom. So I called Miss Bell. She came over. We talked like adults. And I told her, I said, Miss Bell, I'm going to call the police because I'm pregnant. I don't need your daughter. I don't need them coming over trying to fight me and my kids because of their dogs. And I have all right to protect my kids from her animals.
You absolutely do.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Talicia said the reason she asked her if she had a problem because she had been mean mugging her when she was outside that whole day.
Where is she?
2, 23.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Tasha Jones says neighbor Tasha Bell is responsible for damages from a dog attack.
I have to believe that the dog jumped over this fence.
But can I speak? I'm gonna tell you the reason I know she don't know my kids. The daughter that she's talking about, that she called the police on her saying that she's asked her, do you have a problem? Her name is Talicia Washington. She's 15. She got the wrong daughter.
Is that the person who pulled the dog in?
And it's the same person that I had to call the police.
So that's Talicia Washington.
Yes.
And Talicia said the reason she asked her if she had a problem because she had been mean mugging her when she was outside that whole day. And she asked her if
where is Celicia?
She's at the house. Her number is 662. She don't even know who she's speaking to. Lying self, harassing her.
Is this Celicia? Celicia, this is Judge Judy. How are you today? Good, thank you. I got your number from your mom, and I have a couple of questions for you, okay? Do you remember September 20th and that incident involving your dog? Were you outside when the dog jumped the fence? Did you call the dog? What's the dog's name, by the way? Did you call the dog back into your yard? You did not. Tell me what you saw. The dog was in the gate. You didn't call the dog in the gate. Did you hear your neighbor screaming? Did you hear the dog barking? Okay. Celicia, thanks very much. Bye-bye now.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captions. Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, Celicia says the dog was never outside the gate. I have two things that I have to consider. One of the things that I have to consider is whether I actually can visualize this dog jumping over the gate. Quite frankly, I cannot. Celicia says the dog was always inside the gate. Then I have to figure out whether or not the defendant was negligent. Clearly she was not, because she built a fence pursuant to what she was told she had to do. She built a chain link fence that looks, to my eyes, sufficiently high to restrain a medium-sized dog. So I don't think that I can ascribe any negligence to her. Your daughter has said she's never seen the dog outside the fence or crawl through the fence. So I don't know what happened that day, and it may have been that the dog went charging towards the fence and you got frightened. But I'm not satisfied that I can ascribe any negligence to the defendant. Your case is dismissed. We're finished.
Your Honor, please.
We're finished.
Judge Judy, you may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
She need money. Not working and need money and wanting to come back for more. She sued me before.
It was a lot of lies told in the courtroom.
I offered to pay her medical bills.
My daughter got bitten, over 20 bites on her body. She definitely has dangerous dogs.
That I was being sued, I ended all that right then and there.
I have nothing else to say to my neighbor. It's clearly dead.
No, it doesn't. You know, the truth will set you free.
She's a liar and she can't be trusted.
I'm glad that justice was served today.
You run some sort of a kids event.
I paid Mr. DeLeon for the photography and video.
The cameraman came cheap.
How much did you pay him?
$500.
He discounted you $700. You got a bargain.
But she says his product wasn't picture perfect.
You're unhappy with the quality of the pictures and the quality of the video.
Very dark, a lot of movement, blurry.
Don't use them again.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Kimberly Williams is suing photographer Capone de Leon for providing substandard services.
Order. All rise. Yeah, it's case number 275 on the calendar in the matter of Williams versus De Leon. Have a seat. You're welcome, Judge.
Ms. Williams, you run some sort of a kids event, a beauty contest, talent show for kids.
It's actually a debutante program and ball.
Well, what does that mean?
So what it entails basically is we work with high school girls and providing them with academic workshops. We work with them, teaching them etiquette, offer scholarships, that sort of thing.
Are you a for-profit organization?
No, ma'am, we're a nonprofit 501c3.
Who funds you?
I am pretty much funded by way of getting the funds from the registration fees and fundraisers.
Just a second. Registration fees from the girls?
Yes, ma'am.
How much does each girl pay?
They paid last year was $400.
$400 per girl?
Yes, ma'am.
For how long?
The program is throughout the school year. We start at the beginning of the school year, we end at the end of the school year.
How many girls did you have enrolled last year?
We had 4 last year.
And at the end of the year, you have some sort of an event?
Yes, ma'am. We actually host a ball for the girls, which is where they're presented.
And you hired the defendant to photograph it?
And to do video.
How much did you pay him?
$500.
And you want your money back because you claim that he didn't do a good job?
Yes, ma'am. The pictures, which I could show you copies of the pictures, they were taken with a green background, but we purchased a Winter Wonderland background, which was
the Winter Wonderland
I
background.
paid Mr. DeLeon for the photography and video.
No, the
service.
Winter Wonderland background.
Yes, ma'am. It was a part of the package.
Just a second. Who did you purchase it from?
Mr. DeLeon.
So he was supposed to use a Winter Wonderland background when he did the still photography?
Yes, ma'am. That was supposed to be the final production.
I don't know what that means.
The product that he would send to me at the end of the production should have been on that backdrop. And instead,
well, you have to use it. Don't you have to photograph it on that background?
No, ma'am. He was supposed to edit it and add the pictures to that background.
Let me see what the pictures you are complaining about look like. He did come and do the event. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. He did the actual event.
And when you hired him and gave him the $1,500...
$500.
Well, $500. Did you tell him that he would be able to make extra money from the girls buying their photographs?
Yes, ma'am. That was
Just a second. Did you tell him that is my question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, so this is clearly against a green backdrop.
Yes, ma'am.
Were you supposed to provide a different backdrop?
We were originally going to get a backdrop purchased off Amazon. Where they were coming from was China, and the deposit wasn't made till really close to the event, so we weren't able to do that. What I told her is I'd be able to do the backdrop on the green screen and then switch it out in editing.
Did you do that?
I wasn't able. My process.
What do you mean,
my process is we take the pictures, we edit it. Originally, those pictures that you're looking at have been edited through Lightroom. It's Adobe Lightroom. So out of the camera, they're raw. They don't look as good as they do right there. We edit it through Lightroom, bring out the colors and everything like that. And then the second process would be to put it online where the backdrops would be, where they can order it. She didn't want any ordering to be done online, and so we weren't able to do that.
But you can put it on a different background
absolutely.
other than this green. I mean, the green isn't terrible, but you can put it on.
Correct.
Okay, fine. Good. And there were 4 girls.
Yes, ma'am.
So we took still pictures.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, did he take a video?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you
and
have
there's
it?
also clips of the...
I'd like to see it.
Video clips. This particular video is one of the dances with the debutantes alone at the ball. And the 4 girls. And as you can see, the lighting's not very well. It's very dark. A lot of movement, blurry. And then this is a different video clip.
Just a second, I'm looking. I don't need somebody to tell me what I'm looking at. Do the girls provide their own dresses?
Yes, ma'am.
And everybody's taking their own? Yeah. So you got pictures?
Yes, ma'am.
And you got a video?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're unhappy with the quality of the pictures and the quality of the video?
That would be correct, and I'm also unhappy with the fact that I did not get the backdrop that I paid for, because the pictures that you see there were supposed to be for purchase for the parents if they wanted to purchase packages of the event, that they would be able to do so, but with that green background, it doesn't provide us what we were looking for professionally.
Don't use them again.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't use them again. He says that he could put it on a different background. You told him not to put it up so that people could order it. You told him to stop putting it up. Did you tell him to stop putting it up?
He never explained to me that that's how his program worked, that he would have to post it online first before he can change the background. That never came up. He told me he would be able to put it on the backdrop that I paid for, and that he would have packages available the night of the production so that they could actually, after the event was over, go to him and make purchases there on the spot. That never happened because he did not change the background. So it was never discussion about putting it online first.
When did you give him the $500? On what date?
I gave him $200 deposit.
On what date?
June 10th. It looks like the $200 deposit, June 10th.
When was the event?
June 26th.
6/26?
Yes. But I have been speaking with him since March.
I don't care whether you've been speaking to him. You gave him a deposit June 10th.
But I had tried to reach him several times prior. I wasn't able to reach him.
Ms. Williams, I would suggest, you still running this 501c3 that you charge for? Yeah. I suggest that next time you have a contract in writing about everything that you want. Right now, you hired somebody for $500 who spent the evening taking video and taking still pictures of the 4 girls. And it certainly looks to me as if this is a small event. Is this the smallest class you've ever had?
Yes, ma'am, and there is a contract.
I'd like to see it.
Starch here, the very bottom starch here, and then it flips over.
Well, first of all, this thing is unsigned. Second of all, it says photography contract. There is nothing here about a backdrop, and there's nothing here about pictures will be available on the date of the event.
I have that also in text messages as well.
First of all, this contract isn't signed, but if this is your piece, if this is you, where is it signed?
I have the signed.
It's electronic, yes.
I just want to make sure it's the same one.
I created it with Google Forms, so it is an online.
Okay. It says photography session for debutantes. Personal shots that they will be able to purchase prints for themselves. Packages to be provided. This cost is for the setup. $100. Event photography, photographic documentation of the entire event, and this covers raw footage only, $200. Video recording and documentation of the entire event, raw footage only, $300. Event photography, images captured in the event, which will include hundreds of images covered on the disc, $200. And event video editing. This covers the editing of all video footage into one final production featuring the event delivered on DVD, $400. That came to $1,200, which he discounted you $700, which leaves the grand total of $500. You got a bargain.
Yes, ma'am, and that was the price that we actually agreed upon.
Good, and that's what you got. You got pictures and you got a video. We're done. You're not satisfied? Don't use them again. Your case is dismissed.
What is your excuse? You may step out.
He did not produce the quality of the product that he said he would.
I think it was very accurate. She wanted more than she was paying for.
We'll be very particular in terms of how we select the...
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Strickland versus Nietzsche. Step forward.
Walter Strickland is suing his ex-girlfriend, Angela Nietzsche, for the return or value of 2 vehicles, late fees, and punitive damages.
Well, there are a lot of pieces to this case, Mr. Strickland, so I have to make it very, very simple because that's what I do.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Your Honor?
Yeah.
The vehicle was purchased in my name only?
Listen to me. I'm not dealing with it. The car's in her name. She's got a new title, and it's registered to her. I believe her. I don't believe you.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Walter Strickland says ex-girlfriend Angela Nietzsche owes for 2 vehicles, late fees, and punitive damages. Angela is countersuing for unpaid services and repair costs for a van.
Now, Miss Nietzsche was your girlfriend many years ago, and then you remained friends after you were no longer dating. There came a time when you had some health issues.
Yes.
And you hired Miss Nietzsche to do lots of little things for you. Among those things, is that correct?
Yes, but that's not when I hired her.
When did you hire her?
I hired her in 2010 when I was over-the-road truck driver, and I hadn't been home in
weeks.
At some point, according to you, you let her use a car.
My pickup truck, yes.
Where is that truck now?
At the hotel.
Who's driving it?
I do.
Okay, so you have that truck.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me about these other 2 cars that you allege she's holding hostage in some way.
She was driving my pickup truck and informed
Give me a year.
In 2015, excuse me, she was driving, she borrowed the pickup truck because her car was on the last legs. And after driving it for a few weeks, she determined that she couldn't lock anything up in it because of her business and her shows that she would go to, so she needed a car that she could lock up.
And?
At that time is when she told me she needed to borrow some money to purchase a car that she could lock up. She found a car online and asked me to go down and pick it up.
So you did?
Went down, it was not there. It had already been sold.
Okay, and then?
There was a PT Cruiser sitting there that with low mileage, and she said it sounded good to her, so.
What did you do, call her?
Yes, I did.
And said?
The other vehicle that she had wanted me to pick up had already been sold. It's 9,000 miles on it, 2004. She said, well, drive it and see if you think it's worth it. I said, okay. So I drove it. Seemed great.
Great. So what did you do?
I purchased it.
In whose name?
Mine.
And where was she when you were purchasing this truck?
She was up in Apple Valley working.
In what vehicle?
In my brown pickup, a 93 F-150.
Okay, and that was in 2015. Do you remember what month in 2015?
February.
So the beginning of the year.
Yes, ma'am.
Is the car still in your name?
Yes, it is, as far as I know.
Is the car in his name?
No.
How did that happen?
He purchased the car. He called me and asked me, hey, I found this PT Cruiser. Look it up. It's at this. So I looked it up. I actually printed it off. And I said, I have no money. And I have no money. So there's no way I can pay for it. He says, well, you do a lot for me. You've helped me out so much. I'll help you out. So that was February 20th. I was in Pinion Hills, Phelan, working out of my office at my mother's house when he had called me. And I had clients all afternoon, so I was not in Apple Valley. So he brought it up, and as soon as I was done with my last client, we sat down. He signed me over a bill of sale, and I said, do you want to put yourself as a lien holder if something happens to me? And he said, no, it's your car. And I said, okay.
Can I see the bill of sale? Well, Mr. Strickland, this certainly looks like your signature, sir, on February 20th. You want to take a look at this? I've compared it with the signature on the affidavit that you signed.
Registered owner. I'm supposed to be the legal owner.
It's a bill of sale that you sold it to her.
A year later, it's still in my name, Your Honor.
Did you ever register it in his name?
I did. When the dealership finished the paperwork, they put it as Walter Strickland and Angela Strickland. They messed up my last name. And then after the battle started in February, or the attitude started in February, I just went ahead in March and went and got it registered right.
So you got it registered right?
Yes.
Perfect. That's what you're supposed to do. You can return that to him.
Your Honor?
Yeah.
The vehicle was purchased in my name only. She picked up the phone while I was on the way home and called the people and told them to put her name on it, and they did. They put Angela on it, Strickland.
Listen to me. I'm not dealing with it. The car's in her name. She's got a new title, and it's registered to her. I'm next car. Do you understand?
Sure.
Good.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Something got your panties in a twist. I'm not sure what it is, but so far I have 2 frivolous causes of action by you. When somebody presents me with 2 frivolous causes of action, I'm not interested in the 3rd.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Walter Strickland says ex-girlfriend Angela Nietzsche owes for 2 vehicles, late fees, and punitive damages. Angela is countersuing for unpaid services and repair costs for a van.
Now, the next car is a car that she took in that belongs to you to a mechanic.
Yes.
When did she take that car into a mechanic? Sounds like she did a lot of work for you. Month and year.
September 25th, 2014.
September 25th, 2014.
Yes, I have the AAA tow letter.
Just a second. May I see that, please? So this car is sitting in a mechanic's shop for 2 years. I assume it is no longer properly registered nor insured. Is that correct, Mr. Strickland?
Non-opt.
Non-opt, you mean non-operable?
Yes, ma'am.
So it's neither registered. Want this car?
Yes, I do.
Then you should go get it.
Well, ma'am, in 2000...
It's in your name. It's been 2 years. What do you need me for? To go and get your car?
She towed her on her own self. When her son wrecked my brown pickup, I turned around and told her, stop me doing anything on it. I can't afford to do anything right now. I had to pay to have the pickup fixed.
Listen to me, Mr. Strickland. Something got your panties in a twist. I'm not sure what it is, and I don't really care. But so far, I have 2 frivolous causes of action by you. I'm going to tell you for 2 vehicles. I'm going to tell you why. This one's frivolous because after this one, according to you, this is 2014, in 2015, you went and bought her a car. So if you were annoyed about this, why in the world would you go buy her a car? I don't know, and I don't care.
Ma'am, it was not towed in 2014. It was taken down there after I bought the PT Cruiser. Date
of service, September 25th, 2014. The American Auto Club of Southern California towed it there.
Is that, it says a van?
Well, you tell me what kind of car you want back. The car that's in her name, you're not getting back. Now we're on the second car. What year?
1989.
On the money.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
I'm not getting involved with the fact that you didn't give the passwords for your account and you had aggravation. That's a too soft issue for me, and I can't figure out what the level of your aggravation was.
Well, when my pickup got wrecked...
But just a second, I'm speaking now. When somebody presents me with 2 frivolous causes of action, Mr. Strickland, I'm not interested in the third. Now I'm on the counterclaim. Listen to me carefully. You're suing him for $4,200 for unpaid services and repair of the van. And you stretched that out as much as you could to $4,200, right?
Yeah, I went back.
Right? And he bought you a $4,500 car, right? We're done here. You got it?
I didn't have a problem with that.
Perfect. We're done.
Okay, can I get reimbursement back for the van?
Do you understand what I just said to you?
Oh.
You have a counterclaim, and your counterclaim is for $4,200 that you allegedly paid to repair his 1989 F-150 and wages. All of it together, as much as you could put into your counterclaim, came to $4,200. And he bought you a $4,500 car.
Right.
Do you understand?
I understand.
We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Her son wrecked my truck.
He borrowed it with Walt's permission, and it broke down.
She was writing checks, taking care of 6 bills a month.
For 12 years, I've taken care of Walt.
In the end, she just quit paying them.
I'm just done.
Can't trust anybody.
It's just time for me to move on.
I had asked, is the puppy healthy?
A new dog's dire diagnosis.
I said, look, the puppy is deathly ill.
It had parvo, it had worms.
He was asking me for a lot of money, $1,700 in vet bills.
But did this seller...
She knew that she sold me a bad puppy.
Take avoidance to another level?
She tried to get out of this by faking her own death and faking her children's death.
Judge Judy.
You, Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Steve Leitner is suing Brandy Pawnshot for the cost of a boxer puppy and vet bills.
Order. All rise. This case number 320 on the calendar in the matter of Leitner versus Pawnshot.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ladies, have a seat, please.
Mr. Leitner, you purchased a pet from the defendant?
Correct.
A puppy? You saw an ad someplace? Where did you see the ad?
On Craigslist.
How much was she selling the puppy for?
She was wanting $400, but if I purchased the puppy that day, she would take $300.
Did you ask her why?
I did not.
Why not?
I was wanting to save $100, Your Honor.
Did you ask her where the puppy came from?
She had explained to me that she purchased it from her friend who was a breeder.
Okay. Did she tell you when?
At 6 weeks, when the puppy was 6 weeks.
On what date did you purchase the puppy?
October 1st. It was a Saturday night.
Did she tell you why she was getting rid of the puppy?
No.
And you weren't curious?
Well, at one point, she did say that her other dog did not get along with it, but I don't know if that was her reason or not. The puppy had a bite mark on it or an injury on it.
How old was the puppy when you...
Correct.
Is that correct?
No, Your Honor.
How long had you had the puppy?
I had the puppy for a week.
Did you tell him the puppy was 9 weeks?
Yes, well, the puppy was 8 weeks at the time, Your Honor, that I had bought her, and 9 weeks when he bought her.
Do you have the person who bred the puppy?
I do not.
Who is this?
This is my friend.
What is she doing here?
She's been around the puppy with her dog, and her dog was not sick at all, and parvo is very contagious.
Why were you selling the dog?
Because my 4-year-old boxer did not take well with her. She kept nipping at her, and I just felt like it wasn't a good situation.
Okay, your lawsuit is that the puppy, within a couple of days, got sick, took the puppy to the vet. It had parvovirus, and it had worms.
Yes.
And so you want your money back, and you want all the vet bills paid?
Yes.
Show me the contract where she gives you a health guarantee.
What I have is a text message from her that states that I had asked her, is the puppy healthy? She asked me if I had any questions. I had asked, is the puppy healthy? I asked for the cost.
Just a second. Is the puppy healthy? She said yes.
Yes.
And you met her on a Saturday night?
Correct.
And that was on October 1st?
Yes.
And you took the puppy home?
Yes.
On Saturday night?
Yes.
I assume that when you met her on Saturday night, which all of this was not smart in hindsight, right? You let the puppy run around? You let the puppy walk around?
Yes.
For how long?
A few minutes. Again, it was at a Walgreens, so I didn't want to leave the puppy down too long. We mostly held it.
And then you brought it home?
Correct.
On what date did you take it to the vet?
It was Wednesday, that following Wednesday.
So you had the dog with you Sunday?
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Just a second. You had the dog on Sunday?
Yes.
I assume that if you have a new puppy, and if the new puppy doesn't appear to be okay, then you take the puppy right to the vet. That's what I would do. Did you contact her on Sunday?
She contacted me.
On Sunday?
Yes.
And said?
Asked me how the puppy was.
And what did you say?
I said she did fine. She told me she kept her in a cage at night, so I did too. The puppy cried. We let her out and put her in bed with us. And she slept fine that night.
Of course. So you said she was fine?
Yes.
That was on Sunday?
Well, yes.
Just a second.
Well, Sunday she did start to, she was showing signs.
Sunday?
Correct.
Right now she's in a different environment.
Exactly.
And she wasn't used to your business.
Right.
But she slept with you on Sunday. When did you call the defendant next?
I believe it was Monday. I wanted more information from her.
What did you ask her?
She had told me that she had had her.
And where was that?
I did not know where the vet was. I had assumed that it was at my breeder friend's, but after contacting her, she had actually given the shots with the Tractor Supply.
Did you give him the name of the breeder?
I did not.
Did he ask for it?
No, Your Honor.
And you finally took the puppy to the vet on Wednesday, so you've had the puppy Saturday night, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesdays, 3 days.
Yes.
Okay. And I assume that if the puppy appeared to be in extreme, you look like a nice man, your wife looks like a nice lady. You see, what you're going to have to demonstrate to me, Mr. Leitner, is as follows. She had this puppy a very short time.
Not what she told me.
She had this puppy a very short time because the puppy was a young puppy. Whether she had the puppy a week or 2 weeks, it doesn't matter. That's a very short time.
Okay.
And you don't have a written contract from a breeder or from the person that you're buying it from that says, I will guarantee the puppy's health for 30 days, 60 days, you can get your money back, whatever it is. That's what you get usually when you buy a puppy from a breeder or from another outlet that breeds dogs as a business. You were buying a dog from a private person under what I consider sort of suspicious circumstances. Meeting Saturday night, she's getting rid of the dog, you don't know why, you saw the dog was a little bit injured, it sort of was consistent with her dog didn't get along with it. You have to demonstrate to me that there was or guarantee that this dog was healthy, and if it was not, she would take the dog back and you would get a refund within a period of time. That's what you usually have. Take the dog to the vet the next day. The dog has had, these are the dog shots. You get a piece of paper that says this is when the dog was dewormed, this is when the dog had its first shot, second shot. You had another dog.
Yes.
So you know that. You know that. You didn't get anything like that from her.
And on that note, Your Honor, every dog I've purchased has been from a private owner, and I've never had any issues. Things have always worked out. It was going by my history with purchasing puppies.
How many dogs
I did nothing different.
How many dogs do you have?
Now, one, the puppy.
Just this one?
Yes.
And you don't want her to take this puppy back?
Not now, no, Your Honor. I did it at the point when we found out the dog was deathly ill.
Just a second. Did you call and tell her?
Yes.
And did you say, I want to bring it back?
Yes.
And what did she say?
That's when the communication stopped.
Because she had not given you a guarantee or a warranty.
I have a witness that will state that she heard her tell us if the puppy is healthy. I have a text that also states that she says that the puppy is healthy. She told us when we purchased it, the puppy is healthy. And she told us, if you're not happy with it, I'll take the puppy back and give you your money.
Did you say that to them?
No, Your Honor. I said if they gave me a couple days, I would help.
They gave me a couple of days. I don't understand.
Because I couldn't find a good home right when they would want it if they wanted to return it.
No. Why would they? The only reason they would want to return it is if it was sick. That sounds ridiculous. That doesn't make sense. And if it doesn't make sense, it's not true. Now I'm going to ask you one more time. When he called you and said to you, the puppy is sick, what did you say?
Your Honor, he did not call me. He sent me a text message, and I did not respond.
Why?
Because at that point, I didn't know what to do. He was asking me for a lot of money.
What was he asking you for?
For $1,700 in vet bills.
Oh, no, you can't ask her for the vet bills.
That's not what I asked. I had asked, I believe it says in the text message, I'm at the vet, the puppy is deathly sick, needs immediate treatment. It's going to cost me $600 and something was their estimate for that treatment then, and then I needed to take her to a 24-hour emergency care facility, and that would be $1,000 a day, most likely. So that's when I texted her.
You expected her to deal with that? It wasn't her problem.
I said, look, the puppy is deathly ill. It's very, very bad news. You told me that if I wasn't happy, I could return the puppy. I said, I need my money back to continue care on this. Please give me my money back. And I was ready to give up the puppy. And that's when evidence that the puppy was sick by ignoring my calls.
No.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
If you didn't know the puppy was sick on Saturday night, on Sunday,
I started
on
suspecting.
Monday,
I started suspecting.
Well, maybe she didn't sort of
saw the
suspect. Maybe
evidence
you're
that the
smarter
puppy
than
was
she is. Maybe you're smarter than she is.
And later today,
If you don't get along with him anymore, that's your business. If he doesn't get along with you, that's his business. But the two of you made a child together, and his child has two parents. And both parents are entitled to be in that child's life.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Steve Leitner says Brandy Pawn Shop sold him a sick boxer puppy.
Now, I'm not comfortable that when you saw this puppy in the Walgreens parking lot and let it run around and then kept it in your bed and let it sleep with you and then had it the entire day the next day. You didn't take the puppy to the vet on Sunday. You didn't take the puppy to the vet on Monday. So for you...
The vet had asked me when she had her first shots. They wanted to know that.
Just listen to what I'm saying to you. You're not hearing what I'm saying to you.
That's why I didn't take her earlier.
You're not listening to what I'm saying
to
you, sir.
I'm sorry.
You have to satisfy me the puppy was sick. And if you didn't know the puppy was sick on Saturday night, on Sunday...
I started suspecting.
Well, maybe you sort of suspected. Maybe she didn't sort of suspect. Maybe you're smarter than she is. But certainly, you look like a nice man, Mr. Leitner. So if you knew that the puppy was sick on Monday and you bought it under these circumstances, you would have taken it to the vet Mondays.
The only thing I saw from the puppy was a lack of energy and a lack of appetite.
She didn't give the dog a pill on Saturday night to make it happy and jovial and running around Saturday night, Sunday. You have to show that because you don't have a written guarantee of a puppy.
Correct.
The only sympathy I would have for you is if she masked somehow symptoms of a sick puppy and knowingly sold you a sick puppy. And you don't have any evidence of that.
Evidence that she tried to get out of this or contacting me by faking her own death and faking her children's death. She knew that she sold me a bad puppy because she did not want to pay me back or give me my money back.
You're absolutely right.
She went to extreme circumstances.
You're still not following me, sir. She doesn't have $2,000. You have to prove to me, in order for me to have any sympathy whatsoever with your position, that she knowingly sold you a sick puppy. If the puppy showed no symptoms to you when you bought it, how am I supposed to ascribe the fact that the puppy was sick while in her custody?
Based on the vet reports in here, she was underweight, she was skeletal.
That's something you should have seen. You go to pick up a puppy, and if a puppy, and you said, I bought many dogs. That's what you told me before. I bought many dogs, many puppies, and I always bought them this way. That's what you told me.
Yes.
Well, if the dog was skeletal, then you would have seen that on Saturday.
I've got
and you would
pictures
have
showing
seen
what she
it
looked like.
you would have seen it on Sunday.
I've got pictures.
Your case is dismissed, Mr. Leitner. You had no case against her. We're done.
Oh, is your excuse? Please step out.
I truly believe she knew she sold me a sick puppy.
I think she made a fair decision.
She sold it to me to cut her losses.
I did not. I love dogs. I wouldn't have gotten rid of her.
I love the puppy.
I'm just glad the puppy was okay.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Benson versus Baldinelli. Step forward.
Raymond Benson is suing his ex-fiancée unpaid credit card charges and the return of a tablet and a wedding ring set.
The defendant has some rings probably in that box. Can I see them, Bert, please? Mr. Benson, this is your former fiancée. It is your claim that she has some rings that belong to you, engagement rings that belong to you, which she is prepared to return. Because I read your answer. Your answer said the engagement's over, he can have the rings back. So there are his rings. Would you give them to Mr. Benson? You also claim that the defendant owes you for some credit card bills. You let her use a credit card of yours?
Yes, ma'am.
What credit card?
My MasterCard, Capital One.
Did you give her her own card?
No.
So you only had one card?
Only had one card.
Tell me the circumstances surrounding you giving her that card.
One time she went down to Stockton to see her sister, and she took the credit card with her, and she made some purchases.
When?
Back in March of 2015.
Forget it.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
It is inappropriate for one parent to deprive another parent and to deprive a child of the input of a second parent because they don't get along anymore. Your son has a right to have the input of both parents, and you picked him.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Vanessa Baldinelli owes for credit card charges and a wedding ring set. Vanessa is countersuing for the return of a dining room table.
Now, when was the engagement over?
The engagement was over when she left August 28th.
Of this year?
Of this year, 2016.
I'm not interested in March of 2015. What's next?
I have court papers right here I was hoping you can help me with because I've not seen my son since September 25th.
I can't help you with that. Did you file for visitation?
Your Honor, yes, I have. But she's been ducking me. I have not seen her.
You mean she hasn't been served?
She has not been served because I've been trying to get her served at her job, but she has not been working there. I've been looking for her.
All I can do
and
is,
I cannot
all I
find
can
her.
do is
she
tell
has
you,
been.
Shh. I'm going to tell her something. I don't have the jurisdiction to order visitation. Do you understand?
Yes.
All I can do is tell you this. You have a son together? Mm-hmm. Do you have a son together?
Yes. Yes, Your Honor.
How old is that child?
10 months.
You left in August?
Yes. Yes, Your Honor.
Do you work? Did you work?
Yes, I was working.
Did you work?
Yes.
Did Mr. Benson work?
Yes.
Did you work the same hours?
No.
When you worked, who took care of the baby?
I only worked on Saturday. At the time, him.
Eventually, he's going to have visitation with his son. And when it was convenient for you, when you wanted to work, you found nothing inappropriate about his behavior, so that you left an infant with his father to take care of. So eventually, Mr. Benson is going to be smart enough to either retain a lawyer or himself say that to the judge. Till she left, she worked on Saturdays, and I took care of my son. She left me in charge of my son. So it's going to be a very hard uphill battle for you to say he can't see him now because now he's dangerous, now that it's no longer convenient for you. If you don't get along with him anymore, that's your business. If he doesn't get along with you, that's his business. But the two of you made a child together, and the child has two parents. And both parents are entitled to be in that child's life. And it is inappropriate for one parent to deprive another parent. Put your hand down. To deprive another parent and to deprive a child of the input of a second parent because they don't get along anymore. And whether it was an acrimonious departure or whether it was a happy departure is not relevant. Not relevant. Your son has a right to have the input of both parents, and you picked them. Okay. Now, that's as much as I can do to help you. Now, what you have to do is to get her served.
Okay?
Listen to
the last time I saw my son was August 25th. Okay?
Mr. Benson, you're not listening to him. You're not listening.
Mr. Benson, when I did not abuse him at all, Your Honor, and this is why I haven't seen my son. Okay, I've been under emotionally distress.
Sure.
I'm going to throw you both out. You're not listening to me. I told you I have no jurisdiction with regard to granting you an order of visitation.
I understand.
I've told her what I thought as someone who sat in the family court and worked in the family court for a quarter of a century. And if you get a judge who has appropriate experience, the judge is going to tell you the exact same thing that I did, that you're not supposed to be manipulative with regard to a child that the two of you made together. It was your choice to make a child with him. That's all we're going to talk about with regard to visitation.
Yes, ma'am.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Are you in a family dispute? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, you got your rings back. I'm not interested in the 2015 credit card bill. Now, all we have is a tablet. I don't know what kind of tablet you're talking about.
It's an LG tablet that she stole from me when she came and got her belongings.
Would you take that tablet, please?
Oh, okay. Yes.
And turn it over to the plaintiff. Now we're done. Now, what personal property do you claim you left in his house that you want back?
My dining room table.
Do you have her dining room table?
Yes, Your Honor.
Great. What else?
That's it. Some mirrors on the wall.
When are you going to make arrangements to pick up the dining room table?
As soon as possible. As soon as
you have 5 days from today's date. Bring an escort with you.
Okay.
But I need to be present. I don't want her to have to be home.
Oh, absolutely. She has to give you notice, and she should probably get a police standby order when she removes it.
Yes.
And she has to be there to remove it, to identify it, so it's done. Do you understand?
Yes.
We're good. Thank you. We're done.
Step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I think that she made a good decision.
Justice was served, and I just want to say thank you, Judge Judy.
It was a violent situation, and I left with me and my son.
I'm not violent. I'm not an abuser.
I hope that he could disappear, but that's not going to happen, so I don't want to have anything to do with them.
Just co-parent his parents and raise his child, because he needs both of his parents.
What did you take for $5,400 for?
They had came up that he had
trouble.
You didn't buy him the truck, and you used some of the money.
Yes.
You were furious.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't blame you.
And he wasn't the only one.
Who was this?
Another victim.
Did you buy a car from him?
Yeah, he used the same story with me.
Why don't they just arrest him for fraud?
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Charles Griffith is suing his neighbors, Scott and Deborah Fitzgerald, for scamming him on the sale of a truck.
Order. All rise. Your Honor, this is case number 205 on the calendar in the matter of Griffith versus Fitzgerald.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Gentlemen, have a seat.
Mr. Griffiths, what kind of work do you do?
I'm a carpenter, ma'am.
Do you work for yourself or for someone else?
I work for myself for 38 years.
Work out of your home, or do you have a place of business?
I work out of other people's homes.
So they call you when you do jobs for them
Yes,
at
ma'am.
their home. You don't have a place.
I have a small place, a small area at my home that I do small work.
Who do you live with?
With my wife and my dog.
Does your wife work?
Not at the present.
Had she worked?
She has.
What kind of work does she do?
Dental assistant. Yes, ma'am.
How long have you known him?
About 6 months.
How long have you lived in your home?
4 years.
So they just moved in?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you own your home?
No, ma'am. I rent.
And do you own your home or do you rent?
Rent.
What kind of work do you do?
I'm disabled right now.
From what?
Driving tow trucks.
When were you last employed on a full-time basis?
About a year ago, I believe. Maybe a little longer.
What does your wife do?
A debt collector, bill collector.
Do you do side work, getting people cars?
No.
Did you ever?
Yes.
When?
About 2 years ago.
How long did you do it for?
A couple months.
How much money did you take from Mr. Griffin?
I took $5,400.
When did you take $5,400 from him? I don't want you to speak at all. Do you understand? When I ask you a question, you'll speak. When did you take $5,400 from him?
5 weeks from August 9th, 2016.
So mid-September.
Yes.
What did you take for $5,400 for?
He was asking me if I could get a truck possibly for him. And I said I would see what I can do.
Is there any particular reason he would ask you to get a truck for him?
We were talking about it. It had came up that he was looking for a truck.
And?
I said I would try to look for one for him. I told him that some of the tow yards have tow trucks, or have trucks, I'm sorry.
And what special arrangement do you have with them?
They have auctions once a month.
Do you have a license to go to those auctions?
You don't need a license to go. It's open to the public.
So why can't he go? Because you were going to get a fee for that.
A fee?
A fee, money. I mean, what were you doing it for? Just because he's your friend?
I was helping him out, trying.
You're going to have to explain that to me further. I thought you didn't do that for a couple of years.
I hadn't.
And he gave you $5,400. Did he give it to you in check or cash?
Cash.
Did he give it to you all at one time?
No.
He gave it to you in payments?
2.
What were the amounts of the payments?
$3,800 and $1,200.
How far apart were the two payments?
I don't think too long. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe 2 weeks. I'm not 100% sure.
Did you ever find him a truck?
No.
So then he came looking for his money, I assume.
We were talking about it for a while, and then he had wanted to it was a loan, so I had till Thanksgiving to pay him back, and he came early. He came on...
Just a second. I don't understand. I thought you were going to buy him a truck. And the truck was $5,400 that you found. And now you're telling me it was a loan that you were supposed to pay him back for in Thanksgiving. Can we get our act together here?
Yes.
Please. A loan or for a truck?
For a loan. For a truck, I'm sorry.
What was Thanksgiving?
Because I ended up using some of the money for bills that I was sick in and out of the hospital. So then I had to get it back to him by Thanksgiving.
Okay. So you took the $5,400, according to you, and you didn't buy him the truck.
Correct.
You used some of the money.
Yes.
So far, is that correct?
No, ma'am.
No. You want to tell me your version of the story? Because it gets more complicated.
Yes, ma'am. July 5th, I was walking my dog past his house. He stopped me to talk just casually, and he said he was on his way to buy a car, and that if I wanted to go in with him to get this car, he was going to flip it and get 3 times the amount of money. I said, I'm not in the market for a car, but I am looking for a dually truck because I bought a trailer. I need something to pull my trailer with. He said, oh, we have a 2003 F350 dually truck at the yard where I work. And
this is in July.
This is in July.
This is in July.
July the 6th. July the 5th. He says it's $3,800.
I thought you didn't work since last year.
I did.
Okay. Keep going.
So I didn't have the money available to me at the moment, but I called my landlord, who was willing to loan me $4,000. I got a loan within 30 days.
Who is this?
This is a witness.
Not your landlord.
No, not my landlord. This is another victim of the defendant. But anyway, I got the $4,000 from my landlord.
Let me see proof of that. Why would your landlord give you $4,000?
Because I have a very good ongoing relationship with him. He loaned me $4,000 for 30 days. I knew I had money coming in from a check. My wife was involved in a very serious accident. That's why she's not working today. And the check there in that stack is $10,800 to be paid for the car that she wrecked by the insurance company. The check of $10,800, that was how I was going to pay my landlord back. So it's more than enough money to pay my landlord back within the 30 days.
And your landlord is?
Hartman. So I had a loan agreement with him.
Just a second. Just a second. Did you deposit the money into Mr. Hartman's account on August 6th?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Uh-huh.
That was the 30 days.
Got it. Go ahead.
Mr. Fitzgerald, the $3,800, he sends me a text saying, hey, bro, we got a better truck. It's 2007, better condition, lower miles. I'd much rather see you in this truck than a 2003. It's only $5,400.
Where did you get the other money from?
Little by little, I paid him over the course of 2 weeks of job hours.
Got it. Okay, so then this is what happened. He never gave you back your money.
That's correct.
And he never got you a truck.
That is correct.
And you went over there, you were furious.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't blame you. And what happened was he had a truck. And he said to you, listen, I don't have the truck, I'm not feeling well, and whatever. Take my truck and we'll call it even. And he gave you his truck. What kind of truck was that?
A 2000 Ford Ranger pre-runner.
Could you look up that card?
I have pictures of that truck.
Just a second. So you knew that you had gotten a little snookered with him, so you took the truck.
Yes, ma'am.
And then you found out when you went to register it that it had a title loan on it.
Correct.
Of $4,000.
Yes, ma'am.
You still have the truck.
Yes, ma'am.
And is the truck running?
I believe so, yes.
What do you mean you believe so?
It's just sitting there.
Well, it shouldn't just be sitting there. It just shouldn't be sitting there.
Okay.
Okay, so you agreed to take his truck. You have the title to that truck? Or the loan company has the title?
The loan company has.
And what's the name of the loan company?
Title Max Loan.
Is that who is
Yes,
the lien
ma'am.
on it? Title?
Title Max.
Title Max. And what's the amount of the loan? Now, what's the amount of the loan?
I believe $3,600 now. Interest goes up $10 a day, unfortunately.
$10 a day. So
Yeah,
it's $3,600. Is that correct?
I believe so. I haven't.
Great. And it's Title
Max Loan, but I have about.
You have about what?
About $10,000 or more into the truck. I have all the pictures of.
Who cares?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Did you buy a car from him?
Yeah, he used the same story with me and
He
him.
took money.
He took my money and had a police report.
How did you find each other?
He know my phone
From
number.
the police records?
Yes.
Police records. Many people.
Why don't they just arrest him for fraud?
And later today,
It is my understanding from reading these papers that you were together with her in the car when the tolls were accumulated. Is that yes or
I
no?
wasn't with her, no. The first time that we got billed for that, we went to LA together. But on the remaining of the toll roads, I was not with her.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Charles Griffith says his neighbors, Scott and Deborah Fitzgerald, scammed him on the sale of a truck. Scott and Deborah are countersuing for assault, harassment, and the return of a vehicle.
Okay, listen to me carefully. You agreed in satisfaction of whatever deal and say goodbye.
Yes, ma'am.
But then you were hit with the fact that there was a title loan on it.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me see the loan papers. Let me see the loan papers.
I guess this would be the
No, the loan papers from Title Max.
I don't have those.
But you have that information because you must have that information because you were told that Title Max had
Yes,
Title
ma'am.
Max. Great. We need that.
This is from the DMV stating that Title Max owns the title.
Title Max owns the title. Great.
Which means they own the
and
truck.
$3,600 is about what it is.
Yes, ma'am.
And you have the truck, which is what your deal was eventually. Title Max, great. In Los Angeles. So this is how we're resolving your case. We're going to write out a check to Title Max. You have the truck. That's what you bargained for with him. Then you're going to get a free and clear title.
Yes, ma'am.
Great?
Great.
Then you don't have a truck anymore. Do you understand?
Yes.
Perfect. Now you're smiling. You thought it was going to end differently, right? Not you. Not going to end differently. Going to write out a check to the people who gave you the money for the car, not you. And you're not getting the truck back because you have a counterclaim. Your counterclaim is that he harassed you and he bullied you and he assaulted your wife, and it's terrible. I'll get to that in a minute. Tell me your name.
Yeah, I know him from my co-worker.
Did you buy a car from him?
Yeah, he used the same story with me, with similar like
He
him.
took money.
He took my money and had a police report. He admitted he owed me money.
I'd like to see it. So why don't you sue him?
I did.
Did you get a judgment?
No, I had a small claim, and I sent to his address, but he moved, so I know I can get him.
How did you find each other?
He called me. He know me from the record. He pulled out from the record, He know my phone
From
number.
the police records?
Yes.
Police records. Many people.
Why don't they just arrest him for fraud?
I show him.
Why don't they just arrest him for fraud?
I have no idea.
When did this happen with the car with you?
I think in November 2013. And that time I go with another people.
How do you support yourself now?
Disability? Yeah.
Nature of your disability, one more time.
My back is completely shattered. I have neuropathy. They're getting ready to do surgery on my kidney. I have some health stuff going on. I have a caretaker that takes care of me at the house.
Who's your caretaker?
My mother-in-law.
Your mother-in-law?
Through IHSS.
I'm going to write out a check to Title Max. If it's more than that, that's what it's going to be. Your counterclaim's dismissed. I'm done with
the hospital. He came to my house and pretty much threatened my wife.
I'm very happy with her decision. I think she did the right thing.
That he was going to hurt me and hurt my family if I didn't give the truck up that night under distress.
I don't believe there's any truth at all to that.
I got hit.
No, I never hit her. Never laid a hand on her.
I was in no state of mind when I came home to sign what I signed.
Investigate the person first before you give them money.
They'll be out of there in about 30 days, so.
I hope that they end up moving. I really do.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter, Salazar versus Rodriguez. Step forward.
Ricky and Jessica Salazar are suing Ricky's aunt, Eliza Rodriguez, for unpaid care credit charges and for toll fees on a car they leased for her.
Mr. and Mrs. Salazar, who is the relative of the defendant?
I am.
You don't have to poke him. Don't poke him.
Oh, sorry.
And how is she a relative of yours?
She's my aunt.
There came a time when, according to your complaint, she was in a situation where she was going to become homeless, she and her family. And you agreed to allow her to move in with you and your family.
Yes.
And there was an agreement to pay rent. She moved in with a husband and some children.
No, I have no husband, just my son.
Just your son. And there was an agreement to pay rent?
Yes, the first month.
Did start to pay rent?
Correct.
That was $500 a month?
Correct.
Is your claim that she owes you for a few things? Situation didn't work out, you're no longer living with them.
That's correct.
One of the things that you claim she owes you for is an unpaid credit care.
Care credit.
And tell me about what that is. Is that a...
It's a credit card to help for dental vision. It's very hard to get approved for it based on credit scoring.
So who got approved?
It was mine. I've had it previous years.
It was yours?
Yes.
And you needed to use it for eye care?
For eye care and for dental work.
And so she loaned you her card for that?
She did, yes.
And how much did you use on her card?
I used close to $700. It was about $687 that I used for the dental work and for the eyewear as well.
Did you pay them back?
I was starting to make payments on that card.
Did you pay them back?
For the full amount, no.
What amount did you pay back?
I made a couple of payments. I didn't bring proof of that, but I did make a couple payments there. I think one was $75, and I can't recall how much the other one was.
Were there two payments that you made?
There are several payments. She's made maybe multiple payments in 1 month. Some of, I believe, some like...
I want you to...
15.
Tell me the money that she paid, since she doesn't have proof, on the card. Was that? Oh, I see there are fees built up on this card.
Mm-hmm.
There are charges built up on this card.
Yes.
So the new balance is $694.27.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Expensive card. Got to pay that off.
Yes.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Anything else?
There was damages to the vehicle when she brought it to his back about a little after midnight.
Just a second. But you weren't charged for that, correct?
No.
So then there's nothing to sue her for.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Ricky and Jessica Salazar say Ricky's aunt, Eliza Rodriguez, owes for care credit charges and toll fees.
Okay. The next thing that you claim she owes you for is for tolls.
Yes.
At some point, you leased a car for her. Mr. Salazar?
No, it's for me.
It was for you?
But I lent it to her.
Okay, so you leased a car.
On her promise that she would pay it off until she could get it refinanced, then the car would be hers.
Well, if it's a lease, then it doesn't get to be hers.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you ever use... You did. How many times did you borrow it?
I'd say about twice.
And did you borrow it for long trips?
It was for a trip to Mexico.
So the fact that there was overage on the mileage when you took the car back, I'm not going to sit here and figure that out. So let's talk about the tolls. How much were the tolls?
About almost $250.
What is the exact amount of the tolls?
I don't have that paper with me with the exact amount,
well,
but I do have the proof of each payment or statement that they've given to us when we went to go speak to them regarding the situation.
It is my understanding from reading these papers that you were together with her in the car when the tolls were accumulated. Is that yes or no?
I wasn't with her, no.
Who was?
It was her, I don't know, she had possession of the vehicle as when she moved out, so I don't know.
The first time that we got billed for that, it was once going to LA, once coming back. That was on February 6th. We went to LA together before we were going to go to Vegas to go shop. Going, she was like, just going.
So you were together?
Yes, we were.
And on one of them, we were together. But on the remaining of the toll roads, I was not with her. Because I have them here. They took pictures of it, the date and the times, and the locations.
Fine.
And they were when she wasn't living with us anymore.
So the one in February, is that one in February out?
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, I want you to tell me, what is the total amount that is owed on tolls?
$279.35.
Now you can hand those up. Okay, you do agree that when you go through a toll and you don't pay the toll, you have to pay the tolls when you're driving?
That's correct.
Okay, fine. So far that's $973. Anything else?
There was damages to the vehicle when she brought it to us back about a little after midnight.
Just a second.
Okay, the vehicle that she had possession of. Oh.
I understand.
Sorry.
But you weren't charged for that, correct?
No.
So then
okay,
there's nothing to sue her for.
I understand.
$973. Are we done? Perfect. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $973. We're done.
Step out. Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
It seems like they were just trying to sue me for anything that they could because I moved out.
I got my care credit back paid.
Arrested for it.
It's a closed case, but it's not to be